Night 4 of week 4 in term 2 on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club for season 2024. It's all the even numbers tonight, isn't it? 244 2024. Very nice to have you along for the ride wherever you're tuning in, everybody, wherever you may be, right around Australia, right around the world, across the platforms of the GSRC, Facebook, Twitch and YouTube. Welcome to Thursday Night Motorsport, which takes a Spreyton cider and a double header from the Algarve International Circuit, better known as Portimão in, well, actually, can we just acknowledge the fact that they say it's in Portugal, but iRacing says it's in Spain? Excellent stuff. That's a marvellous start to the evening. Good evening, everybody. I'm Zach Kamen alongside Daniel Correas. Welcome to what will be a very entertaining 3 hours for us here in Central Commentary, because first up we're going to bring you Spreyton Cider Formula V. We're going to exit the server and return to the same circuit and bring you, I hope, some wet weather racing just quietly, because we haven't had enough of that for the sake of it so far this season in the latest round of Super Formula Lights, and it is a 1 hour affair, one race program as opposed to the sprint racing we had last week. Now, we'd love to be able to show you the circuit, but apparently iRacing's put it in mirror mode, so it makes no sense whatsoever. However, we might just put it up anyway, just so that we can run through the facts and stats of the circuit, if we can do that, Daniel Correa, sir. There you go. Yes, it's yes, fantastic. So, well, actually, it looks all right there. I'm just wondering what it's going to look like when he puts the old track map up in the top left-hand corner of your screen. 11:14 in the morning, May 2, 2024. So we've gone back a week or so. 23, the ambient, 37 on track, 40% humidity. All looking fair and equal there. Only 4 km/h winds. It is a 4.5 kilometre circuit. It is in the beautiful country of Portugal, in Portimão. And the championship standings as we venture into this round look like this. Glenn Cito's on top, 224. Adam Laver's 213, Tony Baker 198, 187% Chapman, Hendo's on 174. Ryan Tate, Phil King, Tim Harris, Brendan Nealon and Joe Baldwin make up the top 10. Just have a look at the smorgasbord of pulse tuning entries in that top running at the moment, ladies and gentlemen. They've got 4 in the top 10. And Luke Turner not too far away either. And of course, John Merritt not yet back on the grid, but we're hopeful of seeing hot lap at some point. The old experienced tender Formula V competition on the platforms of the GSRC. We will take you around the grounds at some point tonight, ladies and gentlemen, because we've got Thursday night football in the AFL, Carlton up against Melbourne. We've got NRL action from Suncorp Stadium as the Dolphins take on the Seagulls. Right now, our focus is race 1 of Spreyton Cider Formula V, the 10th race of the season. Nice to be back in the chair for this too, after missing Anzac Day. I was back last week, but nice that we've got an open, flowing sort of racetrack, perfect for these cars on the agenda tonight. Sam Chapman and Nick Wood the front row, Glenn Cito and Tim Harris the second, Adam Lavis, Tony Baker the third, Kevin Henderson and Ryan Tate the fourth, Steve Murray and Colin Bennett from row 5. Row 6 is where you're going to find Phil King and Joe Baldwin. Row 7, Greg Heaney and Brett Bradbury. 8, Brendan Nealon and Adam Proctor. Then Greg Padgett and Jaden Green with Curtin Normanson making up the field. Sam Stride's crept in there as well, so not sure what's going on there. I've got 2/18ths on my timing totem pole for whatever reason. Daniel, good evening again, mate. Nice to have you on board. This should be a hell of a lot of fun.
Yeah, so thank you. And it should be Portimão, Algarve International Circuit. Fantastic track. It's a big favourite with a lot of people. Often referred to as the roller coaster, as it's, because of course all the undulation, especially this main straight area that you can see it tapers off down the back there, so they have to come around that final corner, up onto the plateau, and then down as they go into turn one. So the issues that Zach was touching just before is the fact that the dots will be going from left to right instead of right to left. Other than that, yes. We'll be all foot.
All right, set to go now. Spreyton Cider, Thursday night motorsport underway from the Portimão circuit. And Chris Stark watching from afar tonight, wishing his team well. It's a beautiful start for Sam Chapman, who leads the field to 1. Now, what's interesting here is they're taking the dogleg. Oh, trouble already. Off the circuit goes Tim Harris. Off goes Nick Wood. Harris rejoins across the grass on his way through. It was almost as though he was trying to follow Nick Wood through, actually. Did you see that? It was kind of like, hang on, there's trouble, but I can't steer away from it. He was heading straight towards it, straight across the grass. They head across the back straight. Now, what's interesting here is they're not on the Formula One configuration. They're actually heading through the dogleg at turn 1. And they're also heading through the hairpin, the first of the 2 hairpins at the back of the circuit. So it's a slightly different variation to what we'll probably see Super Formula Light running tonight, and it's a slightly different variation to what we're accustomed to when we watch motorsport events at this circuit. Of course, we've seen Formula One visit this circuit. We've seen the World Superbikes and MotoGP in recent years as well. Tony Baker, we ride on board with him. We're all over the back of Adam Lavis like a cheap suit at the moment, heading up through to the right-hander. Now, you'll get good insight as to that undulation that Daniel Correa-Sar was talking about just by, well, A, riding on board, but B, looking at that view there as well. And you wouldn't want to bog it down at the start of an uphill section in these Formula Vs. Daniel, you'd be making a rod for your own back, I would assume, trying to get back up to full speed. So it's important to keep the foot down and keep pointing in the right direction as we head round for the completion of the first lap. It's a long lap here at the Portimão circuit, 2 minutes and 12 seconds. That's going to give us 5 laps for race 1 and 7 for races 2 and 3 if we've done our numbers correctly. Onto the main straight we go. 1 lap in the book. One of the newest circuits on the iRacing platform, hosting Formula V for the first time. And look at the lead that Chapo's opened up, and Glencedo. They've gapped Ryan Tate. Tate and Baker doubling up, ganging up on Hendo and Lavis. Down the outside is Hendo, and he goes to P5. That first corner's rather tight. It cuts back on itself. They then flick it left and then right again. Chris Stark highlighting that Jaden Green's somewhat out of his comfort zone in these cars, but sometimes it's good, apparently, to get out of your comfort zone. 2:47 gone and still a long way to go.
Yeah, it's one of the things that'll catch out these drivers is if they're used to driving Portimão in faster cars, as you said, like something like, say, a Super Formula that's coming up later on tonight, or a Formula One car, or any type of touring car, that first turn is actually a parabolic curve. It curves all the way around, and so they'll be used to that. Whereas in these, of course, we're using that first chicane layout, and as you said, it turns in on itself. So a lot of people have to be just mindful of that as they come into that braking zone, that they'll actually need to apply just a little bit more and a lot more turn in on the wheel. Luckily, nobody seems to have got caught out by that, so the 55 minutes of practice before they got qualifying underway seems to have worked. Apart from that initial spin that we saw, which looks to have been Nick Wood, Tim Harrison, it looks like Kurt Normanson also had an incident, which we can go back and have a look at here. So this was Kurt Normanson coming into the first turn. Actually, yeah, so he used a little bit too much curve there and ended up spinning around, so nothing too severe.
It just snapped hard right on him. Look at this freight train. How good's this? Tony Baker, Kevin Henderson, Adam Lavis, Ryan Tate, Tim Harris, Joe Baldwin, Steve Murray. We ride with Trucker. 3 positions gained so far for both Tony Baker and Kevin Henderson, 2 gained for Ryan Tate, 4 for Trucker, and 5 for Adam Proctor, the big movers thus far. We had just 18 starters. Now, I'm getting no timing on Jaden Green and nor Sam Stride either. Lead change, Chapo to the inside of Cedo, and Chapo's going to lead us down the hill for the 3rd time. 2 wide behind that, Henderson and Baker. Oh, don't need to get that close, boys. This racetrack's a lot wider than you make it look. Whoa. Baldwin in there all over the back of Tim Harris, and there was only a coat of varnish separating them through the dog leg. Oh, Trucker, hold on to it, son. He's wide through turn 4. But he's able to keep Steve Murray at bay for the moment. A 7-way fight for 3rd. It sets us up nicely for the invert in in about 6 minutes' time. Thursday night motorsport platforms at Gentleman Sim Racing Club. I'm out next week. I'm not here Monday or Thursday. I'll be back the week after. Away on personal commitments and assignments, and of course you will be in the capable hands of Daniel Corriasara, and I'm going to hazard a guess that Banksy's filling in for me next week, or somebody else is going to put their hand up. A trouble. Baldwin and Harris have got into the side of one another. The door closed on Trucker, and now they are stuck together. It's a first date. Well, look at them, just glued to each other.
Yeah, so that's a problem.
They can't get away from each other.
Oh, no, they're
going to be on the tow rope. Harris has got on the tow rope. Trucker's going to keep going.
Wow, it was a game of chicken as who was going to tow first, and it looks like Harris is the one that ended up doing it. So
even though Baldwin was the one that got into the side of it.
Right. So
yeah.
That's in any case, that's been resolved, but obviously for both of those guys, especially Harris, he has to go back to pit and wait for that tow penalty. And Joe Baldwin, of course, all the way down in the 17th place, so 5 positions lost for him. Everyone else ahead still continuing strong. It's the game of leapfrog at the front with Sam Chapman and Glenn Riddell, as we see Glenn Riddell getting ready to do the aforementioned and make the overtake. Go right.
We will need to have another look at that. And eagle-eyed viewers of the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club will know exactly where I'm going when I say that the way they were parked, it was a firm reminder of Trent Lavis's racing number. Let's continue on for the moment, though. Glenn Riddell and Sam Chapman, Tony Baker, Ryan Tate, and Kevin Henderson's got down on the inside of Ryan Tate. So too Adam Lavis. Ryan Tate's been swamped. Tate's fallen back to 6th position. Lavis there is following Hendo through, and Tate has gone back to 6th. It happens fast here at the Algarve circuit. Watch this on the run down to 1. Tate hung it wide and just got gobbled up. Did he have a slowdown maybe? That's a real peculiar sort of leave from him to just park it and let those guys idly by. He had the inside line through that corner, but very slow on the exit.
Yeah, possibly a slowdown. I just don't know where he would have got it. He didn't run wide enough, or at least cut a corner to make IRS a given one. So that's a good question. He could have had a slowdown, but I just didn't see anything where he extended track limits, or unless it was one from a previous corner. It tends to give you a decent amount of time to give that time back, so maybe it was something that happened in the final corner, but then again, how do you cut the final corner? It's just a massive right curve.
Exactly. 8:20 gone, so next time by, white flag in the air. Proctor under pressure now from Nick Wood.
Mr. Gear, that's a sensible one too. Possibly Mr. Gear.
Luke Turner watching on instead of being out on the racetrack. Nice to have you on board as well. So no Turner, no Stark. No wonder we're low on numbers, but certainly not quality entertainment here on the platforms at GSRC, Spreyton side of Thursday night motorsport. And we have got the white flag in the air this time by. Here they come. Henderson to the outside. Baker defending the inside. Lavis is there as well. Takes a little way back. He can pick a lane there and get a tow from all 3 of those gentlemen if he pleases to. Lavis to the high side. Lavis trying to go to 3rd. Hendo's got it for the moment. Lavis is going with him. Hendo gets it. Lavis will hold Baker at bay. And Tate's got no help, but he's right there ready to pounce. Lavis almost got into Hendo there. He's opened the door up potentially for Baker. No, he'll get across and cover that off. Carlton have scored the first goal at the MCG. They lead Melbourne 6 points to 0. We'll come back around the grounds a little bit later on for you. Let's focus on this for the moment. Tate, right there. Is he trying to set up a run to the line? Whoa, Baker with a bobble. Did well to save it. Did well to catch it. It's Chapman, it's Riddell, it's Henderson, it's Lavis. It's Baker and Tate. Riddell and Chapman are going to duke it out all the way to the line. It will be a drag race. Look at Cito right there. We've got 2 last lap thrillers unfolding for the price of 1. The battle for first, the battle for third, and also the battle for the inverts on as well. Colin Bennett's got it. Brendan Nealon wants it. 10th and 11th. Have a look at this. Chapman defending the outside. Cito being hung out to dry. Can he get around the outside as they get up to the next left-hander? Yes, he can. Cito around the outside. Edges out Chapman for the moment, but this is far from over. The last sequence of corners here as they make their way around to the checkered flag. Race 1, round 4, Spreyton Cider, Formula V, third way mark of the championship. This is the 10th race of a 30-race campaign. Chapman gets Riddell back on the inside. Up the hill they go. The run to the flag. Barney's got it in his hands. He's waving it. Chapman's going to win the first one of the night. Photos all round. Hendo edged out Baker, who just got the better of Lavis and Tate. Wood, Murray, Bennett and Proctor. That's the way the cookie crumbles. Nealon got hung out to dry and all of that and finishes 11th. Proctor wins the invert. Greg Heaney was 12th. Philip King, Greg Padgett, then Kurt Normanson. Brett Bradbury back there in 16th. Trucker a long way back after his off-track excursion with Timmy Harris. Ha! How good. Right. Now, my apologies, of course. I'm going off the old format. It's a full invert for the second race, top 10 invert for the third. So the fireworks are set to be unleashed. Both races 2 and 3, folks. Sorry, old habits die hard, as they say. So it is a complete invert. Timmy Harris is lining up, looking for redemption. Joe Baldwin will be there alongside him. Brett Bradbury, Kurt Normanson, Greg Padgett, Phil King, Greg Heaney, Brendan Nealon, Adam Proctor takes us back to, well, it's 10th on the grid, but it's actually the 9th car in the order. Colin Bennett, Steve Murray, Nick Wood, Ryan Tate, Adam Lavis, Tony Baker, Kevin Henderson, Glenn Cito, and Sam Chapman make up the running order. So we're ready to go. Not mucking around this time by. Thursday night motorsport platforms of the GSRC. Race 2 or 3 for the Vs. Let's go. Clean start. Very clean start, as it should be when we are on a racetrack as wide as this. Harris will hold off Baldwin to turn 1. They're 4 wide further back. They need to sort that out very quickly. No, round they go. Proctor was one of them.
And it was the other.
Barrett the other. Chapman gifted a couple of spots early. He's got the better of...
Oh, who's that parked?
Everybody. Oh, Greg
Heaney.
Heaney is that. Yep, Heaney's parked in the middle of the road. Cito's there as well.
Phil King's just had one too.
Unfortunately, more trouble. Oh, wow. Phil King's caught up. There's cars going left and right. I think Kurt Normanson was involved as well. And Sam Chapman too. Have a look at this. King's going to get a helping hand. Yep. And then bang. Nowhere to go. 2, 3. Chapman threw it away as the sacrificial lamb in all of that. Taking evasive action. Ryan Tate was the other one. Phil King, Ryan Tate on the tow rope already. Race done for them. We're down to 16. The leader of the pack is Timmy Harris. Baldwin and Bradbury and Paget and Murray. Then Adam Lavis, Tony Baker, Kevin Anderson, Brendan Nealon and Glenn Cito-Riddell make up the top 10. So at the moment, Cito sits in the invert position, but we've still got 6 laps to go. It matters very little who's in position 10 now, only at the end of the end of 7 laps. So, and as we've seen before, Daniel Correa said.
Oh, that's Hendo.
Oh no, that's Hendo turned it around, put it the wrong way. And as we've seen on so many occasions, my friend, how many times do you see it where that 10th position gets changed hands on the last lap? Expect it to happen again here. Same with the battle for the win. Baldwin to the outside. Harris has scores to settle with Joe Baldwin, but Baldwin's got the run. They're bringing Brett Bradbury with them. Look at Bradbury's run. Up the outside. Brett wants to lead it at turn 1. Kenny? Willie? Yes.
He's got to remember that
Bradbury
turn.
goes to the outside.
He's got to remember that turn. Keep it on the track.
Oh,
well done, actually.
It up, hasn't he?
Oh, see, yeah.
He was too wide in and too narrow out. And the boys behind him just swooped and pounced on that. Far more speed up their sleeve, and they made it count. They made it work to their advantage. Back straight again.
So the second race here, obviously a little bit more chaotic than the first when it came to first lap incidents. That was kind of maybe slightly expected due to the fact that we were talking about a fully inverse grid, and then maybe some of those guys at the back just cracked under pressure coming over the top of the hill. And so some of the names that we thought that would be out the front ended up getting caught in that. Chapman being one of them, down in P14 at the moment. Still 5 positions gained from where he finished, because obviously he took top honours in the last race, but not where he'd want to be right now, especially when there's only 15 minutes on the clock. However, for Tim Harris and Joe Baldwin, they're having a riot, and Brett Bradbury as well. Look at him go. Was very, very strong coming into that first turn, but there's a reason why you don't want to be too far on that outside, because there's a sharp left. It's that sharp right, sharp left, and that left, you lose all your speed if you can't take the proper racing line. So although it does get you a better, you get better speed when you can draft and then shoot off to the left side on the main straight, it does you absolutely no favours when they get into that first section of turns.
Good to see both Phil King and Ryan Tate have rejoined the race, but they remain 3/4 of a lap down on the field, having been on the tow road for 2:36 and 2:32 respectively. So that battle resumes with them. They're only about a second and a half apart. Our leaders are coming round onto the main straight. Harris weaving left to right. Baldwin has a choice. Goes to the inside. Bradbury sticks there for the moment. Then wants to go to the middle. Greg Paget flying 4th. Glenn Cito is 5th. Tony Baker, Adam Lavis, Brendan Nealon for company. Baldwin to the inside. Leads Harris to turn 1. It's a tricky little dogleg section. There's no doubt about that. You certainly wouldn't want to be trying to do it in the faster cars.
You also have to take into account that massive, massive sausage curb on the inside that you can see there as well. These cars are not fans of those. You don't want to take them because you'll end up spinning almost certainly. So you can't even extend it if you wanted to. You really do have to try and get back on that racing line as fast as possible. Joe Baldwin did a really good job there. Kept that inside line protected. But I have seen, at least in the past couple of laps, where Joe seems to get a little too wide on some of these exits. And so if he continues to do that, that'll give Tim Harris a good shot. And my curiosity would be if Brett Bradbury is just sitting back for now and trying to contemplate when the best time to attack is, because he didn't do the same type of attack on that previous lap as we saw him on the first one. So yeah, I wonder if he's playing the long game now.
Maybe so, but sometimes you've got to play the long game in this caper. Harris follows Baldwin through. We're on lap 3. 6-minute mark come and gone. 9 minutes to go. It's 4 laps at the line. By my numbers. My numbers aren't all that good, ladies and gentlemen, but it's a fair guess. We've got 4 laps to go at the line. Memo to me, put the phone on silent before the broadcast starts. Round they come. And Baldwin, Harris, Bradbury, Paget. Have a look at Harris down the inside. Baldwin was too late trying to shut the gate. Opted to go wide, opted for the outside line. Look at Bradbury through the middle and Harris on the inside. Last of the late breakers down at turn 1. Bradbury's got Harris covered. Harris will have to tuck back in and catch a toe from one of these two gentlemen if he wants to get back in the race. Bradbury wants to lead this thing at turn 1. Bradbury will lead this thing at turn 1 provided he can pull it up. Nicely done that time around from Brett Bradbury. Oh, he coughed a little bit on the exit, but he's still got Baldwin. Whoa! What about that from Baldwin? Invent something from nothing. Barely any room to make it work. But Joe finds a way to jam it down the inside and goes back to the lead. Bradbury on the inside on the exit of the corner. Have a look at this. Harris with nowhere to go except to follow in the wheel tracks of the two men in front. He wanted to go to the inside, but he would have taken both of them with him if he did that because the wheels would have been locked. That's how tight it was. That's how close a proximity they were to one another. Have a look at the battle further back just quietly. Paget's been caught. Cito, Baker, Lavis, Nealon and Wood all there. And Hendo's not at the fastest lap of the race, 2:12.889. Oh, all of a sudden there's plenty going on. There's still 7 minutes to go. And that will be 3 laps at the line. I'm fairly confident, ladies and gentlemen. 2 minutes 12 a lap gets us, where does that get us? About 6:36, and there's 6:48 on the clock, and we're nowhere near the checkered flag marker just yet. So 3 laps to go at the line. It's Bradbury up on the outside. It's Baldwin defending the inside. Hugs the ripple strip. Bradbury a little bit late into the corner. Harris is right there on his outside now. Bradbury's going to have to hang tight. This is fantastic. Round they come onto the main straight once more. Joe Baldwin, Brett Bradbury, Tim Harris, Glenn Cito, then Tony Baker, Adam Lavis, Greg Paget, Brendan Nealon, Nick Wood, Kevin Henderson, and Adam Proctor. Have a look at Harris back down the inside. Harris gets the run this time round. Harris on the inside of, well, he got Bradbury. Now he gets by Joe Baldwin as well. Harris back to the lead. Pulse tuning in the right spot when it matters. To the right, to the left, then to the right again. A lot of AstroTurf on this circuit. A lot of runoff area as well. One of the newest on the server, if not the newest. I think the only one we haven't been to yet that's new on the server is Mazzano now. But then again, I mean, a couple of these circuits that we've visited are far better for bike racing than they are car racing. There, I said it.
And that's also why there's so much runoff area. It's actually one of the requirements for FIA Grade 1 when it comes to MotoGP, which...
Oh, Bradbury's thrown it away! Bradbury's thrown it away. He's parked in the middle of the road. Oh, he got out of there. Well done. Very well done from Bradbury, but he's going to drop a bunch of spots and go back into this fight for the minor placings. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8. In fact, forget about third. Cito's taking off. Baker back down on the inside. Lavis trying to get up there on the inside as well of Nick Wood, and does so. Lavis up into P4 now.
Oh,
Wood gets him back on the inside on the exit. Baker's going to capitalise on that as well. Oh, battles left, right and centre. This is why we love Thursday Night Motorsport on the platforms of the GSRC, particularly Spreyton side of Formula V. 2 laps to go at the line. Anyone's guess who's going to finish in any one of these spots at the moment. How close was that? Too close for liking, too close for comfort. Barely hung on to it. Wood, Baker, Lavis, Bradbury, Nealon and Proctor. 6-car fight for positions 4 through 9, and Sam Chapman is 10th and has the fastest lap of the race, and he did this last week. You'll have the invert pole for the next race. He loves doing that, Chapo. He loves just getting that clear air on his competition and having the invert pole. But it's not practical for your championship, Chapo. I think we've had this conversation before. 2 laps to go. Have a look at him. 2 by 2 by 2.
So Tony
3 wide, why not?
Yeah.
Oh, come on, go 4. Go 4. No.
No,
Baker holds on the inside, but goes deep. Manages to pull it up. Whoa!
Oh,
hang on.
Slight contact there, but nothing.
How the hell did they get away with that?
No, there they go.
They're not going to get any more.
Yeah.
Bradbury
No.
and Proctor. And also, I think Nealon might have got caught up in all of that. Let's have a look again. Yep, the wheels interlocked, Bradbury over the top, and good evasive action from Tony Baker. Nealon actually got through unscathed. Now they resume their duel. That's a leg up for Sam Chapman, up into 8th spot, but that puts him 3rd on the invert grid. Baldwin and Harris are still going for it as well. I might not have a voice left by the end of this. I'm not sure how we're going to go. A lap and a half to go, folks. Strap in, buckle up, hold on. Baldwin, Harris, Riddell, Baker, Lavis, Wood, Nealon, Chapman, Proctor, Bennett. 1 through 10 at the moment.
We should be white flag this time by.
Absolutely, we should be.
Yep.
Yep, should be white flag in the air. We've already noted that Barney is present tonight. He's not taking the night off, not bludging. Have a look at Harris up on the outside, Baldwin the inside. White flag in the air, 4.5 kilometres to the checkered flag. Let's do it one more time around. And Harris to the inside, Baldwin switches back. Last of the late breakers to turn 1. Harris is too far back to make it work at the moment. Is he just luring Joe Baldwin into a false sense of hope here? Because we know that you don't want to be leading at the start of the last lap 9 times out of 10 in these things. Have a look at Rivas down the inside. Got Nick Wood. Nick Wood was too deep into the corner, trying to get back on the inside. Round the outside went Tony Baker. Oh boy. Brendan Nealon is still 7th in this fight. Chapo ranging up on them, but he's going to run out of time. Cito's a very lonely 3rd. Brett Bradbury's on pit road as well. Unfortunate end to his race. Tate and King are both out there a lap down, or just about a lap down, and Greg Padgett has retired from the race. All happening here in Portugal. There's half a minute left on the clock. There's half a lap to go. It's Baldwin over the back of Tim Harris looking for a mistake. Harris leads this thing into the final sector. Harris leads from Baldwin by 0.2 of a second. Can Baldwin set this up and have a lunge, have a crack? I don't know if I've ever called Trucker to a race win in Formula V for Spreyton side. Let's have a look. Down the inside, no, couldn't get it done. Happy to sit there for the moment, but every apex and every movement from Baldwin needs to be picture perfect from here and hit with precision. If he's going to set this up and get the run on Tim Harris up onto the main straight. Last sequence of corners now. Down the inside! Oh, don't go now, Joe! Don't go now! Too early! Too early, Joe! You've gone for the trap that was perfectly set for you! Harris is right there. Watch the substrate now. Baldwin weaving left to right, trying to make it work. Trying to keep Harris at bay. Harris goes to the outside. Who's going to get this one at the line of the fight up his truck? We're about to do it. Harris over the top. Truck on the inside. Harris nips Baldwin at the post. 0.02 of a second. It simply doesn't get any better than that. The trap perfectly set by Harris. Baldwin falling right into it. Baldwin getting pipped at the post by the skin of his teeth. Cito in for 3rd, then Baker, Lavis, Wood, Nealon, Chapman, Proctor and Bennett. And that is what 2 1,000ths of a second looks like. Bang! Unbelievable. Nothing in that, Joe Baldwin. Unlucky, my friend.
Look, it might look like that, but it tastes like vinegar. I'll give you the tip.
No. Unlucky, mate. Although that being said, you'll hear it back when you go back and listen to it and watch it back over a cold one tonight. I thought you went just a little bit too early.
Yeah, no, Tim actually propped up on the entrance to that second last corner, and I knew Glenn was coming, so if Fox ran too much longer, Glenn was probably going to get in the draft and create a bit of trouble from Cedo, so it had to go. But hey, look, hats off to Tim, and huge apologies to him for the contact in race one. So I'm actually not too upset that he got me there for the points. That's yeah, I'm happy that he got the points in and the win in that second one. So yeah, a little bit of apologies for the race one, but that was fun. He's a wily fox, he is, Mr. Tim Harris. That was a lot of fun.
I can't say I'm surprised when we're talking about anything with regards to the Pulse Tuning boys.
Yes, absolutely. He was fast in qualifying, and I'm not sure what happened. I haven't actually gone back and had a look at what the incident was in race one, but I got the penalty for it, so I'm going to wear it. But yep. Those guys, they've been on point this season in the V racing. I don't know whether or not they're doing 1,000 laps of practice or whatnot, but they seem to have their as a team, they've got their pace together in the V's. I missed last week, so I'm only going to have one more crack of the whip for a drop round to get an overall result. So it's the terrible race one. Race two was better, so hopefully now we can stay out of trouble. And it's a fantastic venue actually, but it really leads to really close door-to-door racing with the V's. We're going here for the Super Formula lights next, so it'll be interesting to see what style of racing we get with the Super Formula lights here, because the V racing I think's been pretty good, to be honest.
I think it has been too. What are your thoughts on race 3, mate, before I let you go?
I think it's going to be set yourself up for the last 3 laps. Everybody should have their eye in now. You can't rely on anybody getting involved in the incident. You just got to try and keep it clean. I mean, Hendo's starting there a couple of positions behind me, but he'll move up through the pack with us, I'm sure. So yeah, but there's a lot of pace starting in front of us, so it should be a good race. Absolutely,
bring it on. Looking forward to it immensely, mate. Go well, go and line up on the grid. We'll chat at the end.
Thanks, guys. Bye.
Round 4 of the championship from the Portimão circuit in Portugal, of course. We are staying here for the 4th round, the 5th race of the Super Formula Lights Championship. We'll be bringing that one to you as soon as we're done here, and that'll be 8:45 Eastern Standard Time. Lining up on the grid. Unfortunately, something's happened there for Brett Bradbury. I can't read the full comment because of our display, but that's okay. 4 o'clock in the afternoon. 30% humidity, 44 the on-track temp, 27 the ambient. Lost concentration, unfortunately. At least it's an honest admission from Brett Bradbury. Bennett and Proctor the front row, Chapman Deal on the second, Wood Lavis the third, Baker Riddell the fourth, Baldwin and Harris the fifth. Invert top 10 of the results from race 2, and everybody else is where they finished, all the way down to Phil King, who is the last of the 17 starters. Final race of round 4, the 12th of the campaign. Let's go! Beautiful start from Tony Baker. Great start, Nick Wood as well. And it's locked up all over the back of Colin Bennett on the run down to turn 1, but unfortunately, Lavis missed out in all of that as well. And then they got into the side of him. They did well not to spin. And the top 3 have got distance between the rest of the pack. They've got breathing space. Have a look at them. Oh, no, no, no. Lavis is gone. Lavis is gone. Thrown it around on cold tyres. So the locked up SimSport boys are 1 and 3. They were all over the back of Colin Bennett on the run down to turn 1. Chapman was able to convert the start. Proctor has slipped back to 3rd, and Bennett to 2nd. Baldwin up 5 spots early. Oh, wow! cars are going round left, right and centre. I think Greg Heaney's been caught up, so too Tony Baker, Kurt Nomanson as well. I thought for a moment Nick Wood or Brendan Nealon might have been caught up in that. Not to be. They're still going okay. But how? More to the point is the question. Hello to you, Antonio, under a new handle. Nice to have you on board, mate. Thanks for tuning in. From the United States, we're on the East Coast at the moment. It's just gone 6 a.m. and 3 a.m. on the West Coast of the United States. Of course, observing that progressive and civilised concept of daylight saving that Queensland knows absolutely nothing about. In the months of March through November. Good on you, mate. Thanks for tuning in. So the time difference between the states varies between 14 and 17 hours at the moment, or 16 and 19 hours on summertime, our time, summertime, their time, winter time, depending upon whether you're on the East Coast or the West Coast or in the middle. Just for clarification for everybody at home, we're on Eastern Standard Time at the moment. We'll be on Eastern Daylight Time in progressive and civilised states come October 6. And how lucky am I that I'll be down in Taree for the start of daylight saving this year. Taree's never looked so good. Just for the concept of daylight saving more than anything else. What will be depressing is driving back to Queensland that night and winding the clock back 112 years. 1 lap gone, 2.5 minutes gone, 6 laps to go. Chapman, Proctor and Bennett taken off. 2-second gap back to Baldwin, Nealon, Harris, Wood, King, Riddell. They're all compromised by what happened further back. Yeah, you're right about that, mate. I'm actually looking forward to the road courses to come in the NASCAR Xfinity Series and also the NASCAR Cup. I think that's where he'll really shine. Shame to see him missing the All-Star race as well. Tony Baker on the tow rope in pit lane. Everybody else still out there running at the moment, but yeah, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 distinct battle packs as a result of that early incident and the evasive action that had to be taken as a consequence. And we are watching Nick Wood in 7th place. We're riding on board with him, in fact. I'm really glad I went for the lime cordial tonight, Daniel. It's been worth it.
Very good. I'm
Oh, you are still there? I thought for a moment you'd fallen asleep.
No, I'm not allowed to do that no more. Have to get one of the banana chairs from outside so it doesn't happen again. I'm more of a red cordial person. Yeah. But that's just because I think when you're a kid, it gets ingrained as like, that's the holy grail of cordials.
Absolutely. Darlington, of course, the next stop for the NASCARs in the real world. For those of you that are following the NASCAR series, huge weekend of real world motorsport. In fact, FIA World Endurance Championship from Spa-Francorchamps, MotoGP from the Bugatti circuit at the Circuit de la Sarthe, Le Mans, and of course IndyCar from the Brickyard as we watch 3 wide action here in Spreyton side of Formula V. Nick Wood on the inside trying to capitalise, gets by Tim Harris and Joe Baldwin in one hit. There we go. So Wood gets through. Some interesting comments coming through as we start talking about NASCAR. The IMSA WeatherTech Sports Car Championship heads to Laguna Seca this weekend as well. And I'm hoping I haven't missed anything along the way, but that's the extent of the bulk of what's coming up this weekend. It's a huge weekend of real-world motorsport, and I think there's even some endurance racing for the not the Intercontinental, but the other one. What's it called?
The GT World Challenge?
No, not them. But from the similar promoter, yeah. I'll find it. It was mentioned on Speed Cafe earlier in the week. But yeah, it's an enormous weekend. And next weekend, of course, Supercars, Indy 500 qualified, Formula One back on the agenda as well. From the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix, the Imola circuit, of course, where tributes will continue for the 30th anniversary of the passing of both Roland Ratzenberger and Ayrton Senna. Here's Harris. Harris trying to get down on the inside. Oh, geez, couldn't get it done on Nick Wood. And of course the NASCAR All-Star race as well next weekend. So huge amount of motorsport coming up. And of course that triple header at the end of May is always worth burning the candle at both ends for. The Monaco Grand Prix into the Indy 500, into the Coke 600, and then by about 2 o'clock Monday you go and have a kip and then come and join us for some GSRC action, which will be well worth the price of admission. 6.5 minutes gone, 3 laps in the book. Chapman across the line ahead of Proctor. Got a second on him at the moment. Proctor has 0.6 on Bennett. We're watching the battle for fourth between Nick Wood, Tim Harris and Joe Baldwin. Baldwin with the best seat in the house at the moment. Harris to the inside. Baldwin follows. Baldwin then decides to go himself through the middle. Have a look at Trucker. Straight through the middle. Nicely done. And then got across to cover off Harris. Wood looking for a gap, but there's none there. There's no visible gap to make it work for Nick Wood at the moment. He gets balked by Harris on the exit of turn 1. Baldwin runs it wide on the exit of turn 2. Then runs it tight through 3. Opens the door up. Oh, gets into the side of Harris again. Second time tonight they've come together. Nick Wood gets 2 for the price of 1. And Brendan Nealon's right on Baldwin's tail at the moment. Welcome back into the fight. And they're bringing Cito and Phil King with them as well. Soon to be a 6-car fight for third in the motor race. And the top 3 continue to take off. They're 4 seconds up the road. It's Chapman from Proctor and Bennett, but we cannot take our eyes off this. Half race distance in terms of time. 7.5 gone, 7.5 to go. Harris manoeuvres his way down the inside of Nick Wood and opens the door up for himself to go back to 4th place. Nick Wood now trying to get back down on the inside to cover off Baldwin and does so. They've got to be mindful of those blokes that are narrowing in on them at the moment, zeroing in on the tail, but all the time. Harris has put it in the kitty litter. Harris drops down the order behind Phil King. Harris drops to 9th. Unbelievable.
Oh, I think Nick Wood just went wide as well. So, oh, actually, no, he maintained the speed. Good on him. Glenn Riddell goes down on the inside there, trades places with Brendan Nealon for P6. And as you were saying, Zach, those front 3, that was Nick Wood, Tim Harris, and Joe Baldwin, as they were fighting, the draft was powerful enough to pull Brendan Nealon, Glenn Riddell, and Phil King with them. So, as you said, now, well, it was 6. Unfortunately, Tim decided to go for an adventure in the sand. And so it's now gone down to 5. Nick Wood leading this pack through the front. There's also a battle at the front there. Sam Chapman, 0.8 ahead of Proctor, who is himself 0.8 in front of Bennett. So that could also develop into a closer battle as we start to wind down to the back end of this final race here for the Formula Vs. But for now, Sam Chapman's doing a really good job there at the front. But it is truly anyone's game when you go from the 4th on the grid down to P8. He's tapped him. So that's Nick Wood.
Geez. Another one bites the dust.
No damage there to the cars. It looks like everyone's still got okay steering. Yeah, Joe Baldwin just touching the back of Nick Wood's car there, or the rear tyre, I should say, which caused him to spin. He drops now to P8. Still within the attack range, though, so he should be able to make it back up without an issue. I can see that we're at 9 minutes 45 of 15, so we are winding down as Baldwin locks the brakes.
Baldwin! Very wide down at the bottom of the circuit. Thought he was going to the other hairpin. Oh, there's 2 of them there at trip sharp occasionally. It's the first mistake, really, we've seen from Baldwin in that respect tonight. Yep, sure, he's banged wheels with Tim Harris more than once, but that's the first time we've seen him go wide. His fight for 5th is still 5 deep, despite everything. Wood down on the inside of King. Now on the outside. King trying to throw it down on the inside of Brendan Nealon!
Wow.
Phil King up into the top 5. How long can he stay there for, though? Forget about Riddell, he's gone. Forget about Cito. The best he can hope for is 4th. He's 5.6 down the road on Colin Bennett, Adam Proctor and Sam Chapman, who are still fighting for the top 3 positions on the racetrack, but they're not as intensely fighting as these 5 are here at the moment. They're separated by about 0.9 and 0.7 respectively. 1st to 2nd, 2nd to 3rd. This one, very difficult to pick. Don't forget too, ladies and gentlemen, the other big event on tonight, apart from GSRC and Thursday Night Football, AFL, NRL, a $60 million Powerball draw tonight as well. So if it goes remarkably quiet here at some point during the broadcast, it's only because I've won Division 8 or something. Across the line we go. That's probably the best I can hope for these days, Daniel Caruso, because whenever I hope for anything else, I get my hopes up. So, down the inside, look at Baldwin, look at the run Baldwin's got down there on the inside. Can he go all the way? Baldwin, yes! Like a trucker back to fifth.
Oh no!
Oh no, trouble, Harris. Harris goes wide. Oh boy. So you got a two Pulse Tuning Boys, an Aussie Racer Stable entry, Black Wheels Racing and Twitchy Foot, all in this fight at the moment. Locked Up Sim Sports are 1 and 2. Chapman and Proctor are taken off. Proctor's got by Bennett as well. So it's been a while since we checked in with those guys. No real need to at the moment. Oh, wide goes Brendan Nealon. Wood goes through. Can he take King with him? No. A lap and a half to go. That's all that's left. This is the best show in town. Spreyton side of Thursday Night Motorsport Formula V. It always sets a tough task or a tough act for the, in this case, Wings and Slicks to follow. Good luck, boys. The numbers in that series, though, this season have been through the roof already. So if we get another field of 40 tonight, this is just the sort of racetrack for those cars to excel on. Up over the top, and Baldwin's lost out on 5th again. Loses 6th to Nick Wood. 7th to Timmy Harris, maybe. Have a look at Harris. Harris ranging right up around the outside to put himself on the inside of Baldwin. To go to 7th now. Got his nose in front. Harris goes to 7th. Can he hold that there? Yes. Baldwin, all of a sudden, staring down 5th now, runs 8th. White flag this time by. Round they come. White flag in the air. Let's go. Sam Chapman, Adam Proctor, Colin Bennett, 1, 2 and 3. Nick Wood is 5th in behind Glenn Cedar. Riddell is a very lonely 4th, not for the first time tonight. We're watching the 5-way fight for 5th here. Down the inside goes Phil King, not going to pull it up from there, not going to get across. To find a way by Nick Wood, who was a little bit squirrely through 1. Compromised the run to 2. King tries to follow, Harris going down the inside. King, no. Oh, have a look at Phil King down the inside. Harris gives him a nudge. Harris gives him a nudge. And they come together for the 2nd time tonight. It is turn 4 that trips Tim Harris up. Oh dear me. Oh Glorioski. Have a look at this. Tim Harris 13th at the moment. Proctor all over the back of Chapman. Who's going to hold bragging rights here? So let's just recap the night that was. I think we're on track for 3 different winners, are we not? Harris picked Baldwin in the 2nd race. And Chapman got the first race, didn't he?
Did. So if Adam
need to get up for 3 from 3.
Yeah, if Adam can make the overtake, which there is still a decent amount of chance to do, then then yes, we'll have 3 of 3. I wonder if team orders are in effect here at Locked Up Sim Sports.
Oh, have a look at this. The gamesmanship is started. Oh, look at the gamesmanship. Actually, these two, yeah. These two can just follow one another around and go for the photo finish, the form finish. The 1-2 for Locked Up Sim Sports. Chapman and Proctor, main straight. Proctor happy to tap his teammate all the way to the line. Proctor pulls out of the draft and goes for it. Proctor's going to get it! Oh, I don't think that was in the script! I don't think that was in the bloody script! Proctor's picked Chapman in the post! Locked Up Sim Sports still go 1-2. We get 3 different winners in the night. You bloody beauty. Have a look at this. It is as bloody close as it'll ever get. Oh my goodness. Proctor on, Chapman! Look at that! Oh! Wow. No team orders confirmed from Chris Stark. And there is a bee's proverbial in that. Proctor, an old experienced hand of Formula V in the real world, nabs a win in the sim world and does it at the expense of his teammate. How about that? Bennett in for third, Riddell, Baldwin, Nick Wood, then Brendan Neal and Phil King Ryan. Tight Adam Lavis made up the top 10. Then we go back to Brett Bradbury, Steve Murray, Kevin Henderson, Greg Heaney, Kurt Nomanson, Tony Baker, and Tim Harris finished a lap down. Yep. Super Formula has a very tough act to follow.
Yeah, that. I mean, you wanted it, Zach. You wanted the 3 separate winners, and Adam's given it to you. And it really was by the nose.
Yep.
We thought that the finish between Tim Harris and Joe Baldwin was close, and we've got that one there. I don't actually have like an official finishing time. I'll have to wait for the session to actually close off. I think Tony Baker is still making his way around. No, it's just crossed the line there. So that means we should have the feature. I'm curious, what is the final timings there on that screen? 0.008.
That's what 0.008 of a second looks like, ladies and gentlemen. My goodness me. Greg Heaney and Sam Chapman about to join us. Kurt Nomanson and Joe Baldwin are already here. What a night we've had so far, and there's still so much more to come. Oh my goodness. 3 sprint races in round 4 of the championship. That's the feature race result board for you. And it's a case of what might have been for a few people on that list, but Trucker held on to get a top 5 finish. We lost sight of all of that. That battle at the end there in amongst everything that was going on at the front between the 2 locked up SimSport teammates. I'll get to Sam Chapman in just a moment. He's had 2 podium finishes tonight. Championship standings now read like that, and Chapman's going to move ahead of Tony Baker in the running order. And then Kevin Henderson, Ryan Tate and Phil King in behind that. No real change there. Joe Baldwin up 2 spots. Brendan Nealon stays where he is and Tim Harris drops 2. And you can blame Joe Baldwin for at least one portion of that, and I think Phil King for the other. Oh dear. How about that? Trucker. It's been an interesting night. 2 top 5 finishes for you. Well, obviously you got the penalty in race 1 as well, but let's focus on the positive. A nice way to finish it off, mate. And a hard-fought 5th to hold off the likes of Nick Wood and Ryan Taylor with our slouches in this caper.
No, absolutely. When Glenn come by me, I just made a mistake. I was actually looking at the relative or something. The I don't know, where you turn left at the weeds at the bottom of the hill. I don't know the corner number or anything, to be honest, but I completely missed my braking point. Rather than killing Glenn, I just went out into the bush, and I think I lost 4 positions. So it was, Glenn was gone, so I was never going to get near him. So that put me back into that battle. And I just want to, I think I might have said before, but Brendan Nealon, just clap to him. His improvement in his racing since he's joined the club has been crazy. So I just want to give him a shout out for his results. He stays out of trouble. He's doing a really, really good job. So yeah, congrats to Brendan. You know, just seeing the improvement in him's been great. So yeah, if the club's had something to do with that, and the racing he's doing with us, something we can all be proud of. So yeah, well done to Brendan. But God, these are hard work, mate. I'll tell you what.
Oh. Mate, my vocal cords, it's a good thing I've got some Strepsils here, ready for Super Formula Light. In fact, I might reach over and grab one in a moment when we're hearing from one of the other drivers. Stay with me, Trucker, get to you in a moment to discuss a couple of other things here. I just want to bring in Kurt Nomanson first up. Hey, mate, you made it to the end. That's more than a couple. Well done. Talk us through your night, because there were a couple of hairy moments, but to finish first you must finish, and in that 3rd race at least you came home in 15th.
Yeah, the feature definitely could have, a case of what could have been. I bumped Greg around, so I waited for him there on the first lap, and we had a good race to the end. I had a lot of fun racing tonight, and it was mostly just learning experience in the V's, so I can do better next season.
what are your thoughts on this circuit, mate? Because we're back here in the Super Formula very shortly. It's one of the newest circuits on the server, so, I mean, a lot of us are flying blind with it.
Yeah, definitely. I think this car definitely suited this track. It was a lot of fun to drive. I really enjoyed it. And I definitely love the track. I think I need to do more racing around here, or just even just do laps in any of the cars, really. I love the track.
And as far as the V's are concerned, how are you finding coming to grips with them as a race car? Because, I mean, as Joe said, they're bloody hard work.
Yeah, it's a lot of work, but it's definitely worth it. I'm going to have to do a lot more in the off-season of learning the V, so I can come back and be just that little bit quicker.
Did I just lose you there, Kurt? I'm not sure.
No, mate, no, I'm clear.
I think I might have. Okay. Hey, Kurt, can we just remind everybody, Daniel, where we're going next week with Formula V, please? Just bring that calendar up and remind everybody that to get us to the halfway mark of the season, we'll be taking you to Sonoma in California. If I've still got you, Kurt, what are your thoughts on that, mate?
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to Sonoma. That will be a lot of fun, and I think the car's going to flow really well around there.
All right, mate. Very nicely done. Thank you for that. Well done. Go well for the Super Formulas. We might check in after that.
No worries.
From Kurt Nomanson, let's go to Greg Heaney right now. Greg, talk me through that, because that looked chaotic for you. Any incident that was on the racetrack, you seemed to find for some reason.
Yeah, I think I'm a magnet for it tonight, and I'm hoping I'm not going to repeat the same thing whilst I'm sitting here in the Formula Light trying to get the quali lap in. No, look, I mean, yeah, okay, there was a few spots where I had incidents and seemed to, like race 2 was great, and I had Aiden and Jackson and comms with me there watching the stream, and it's like, I get a good launch and get round through turn 3, and it's like, yep, and now I'm sideways on the road, and they've obviously got a slight delay to what they can see. And, yeah, they're cackling and everything, carrying on. But no, I had a great night of racing. Thanks to Kurt for letting me get back in front of him after he bumped me on race 3. We had a great battle for the last whole half of that race. And then I had a couple of good laps with, I think it was Sam Chapman at one point, and also Kev Henderson as well. So I had a good night of racing, albeit not as far up the podium as the tree as I'd like to be, but still lap time and seat time always improves. So I'm getting there.
Indeed, very nicely done. And your thoughts on just familiarising yourself with the circuit at least before you go and jump in the Super Formula around here. Is there anything you can take from what you've learned in Formula V and apply to the Super Formula or not?
Not really, because there's a whole lot of speed difference, and there's something called downforce, which the V doesn't have. I'm already finding
I think you're not using the chicane at turn 1 either.
No. So obviously the V's are on the MotoGP circuit, where the SFLs are actually on the full GP circuit. So we've got the longer run down to the hairpin and no chicane at the front.
And do you like this circuit as a whole?
Oh yeah. I've done I've done a handful of laps around here already in the wet, prepping for GT3. So done a handful of laps around here in the Lambo for the possibility of rain in the pro split, but we'll see what happens. But no, I'm really liking the track, to be honest.
All right, very nicely done, mate. Thank you for that. Go well. We might get your thoughts quickly on Sonoma for Formula V next week before I let you go and focus on Super Formula.
Looking forward to it very much. I'll be able to get some laps in for that one in SRX on Friday, tomorrow. Though that's a whole different kettle of fish in terms of car and everything like that. But Sonoma's a good track to drive, so.
Indeed it is, as so is Portimão, it would seem. I hope they're going to throw some weather at you tonight, because it'll be the first of the two 60-minute races we've got in this championship. So again, a different format to focus on Super Formula, mate.
Yes, most definitely. I know Aiden's done a massive amount of wet laps and dry laps, so he's licking his lips for the possibility if it rains.
We'll wait and see what we're greeted with when we get there. Hey, go well, mate. We'll check in after Super Formula.
No worries.
Remembering that race starts 8:45 Eastern Standard Time for you tonight, ladies and gentlemen. 6:45 in the West, 10:45 in New Zealand. We'll take you right through to the checkered flag and beyond here as Thursday night motorsport continues for you on the platforms of the Gentlemen Sim Racing Club. Joe Baldwin, welcome back to you. An arbitrary moment to ask you about, obviously, Sonoma being next stop. That's number one. And number two, the NASCAR SRX cars. They're there tomorrow night as well. How are you enjoying them so far in terms of broadcasting it and the spectacle that they're putting together?
Look, they're a fantastic car. They're a beast of a thing. Last week, Adam threw up the white flag and surrendered and said he didn't want to race on the dirt. It's just not his thing. Some people are like that. So I didn't actually have the broadcast it last week. I actually got the race and finished second overall behind his brother Trent. Actually, he came in for a bit of fun. So. Yeah, I had a good week in the car last week and I love it. It's a lot of fun. It's big, it's heavy, it's cumbersome, and it's got a bunch of horsepower. And I think a track like Sonoma's really going to play to the strengths of the guys who can get their head around how they drive, because you got the straights with the big uphills and you got the tight corners on crests of hills and stuff like that. Yeah, it's just. I think it's really going to show the guys that are gentle on the tyres. They're just going to be a fun car, I think, to watch. So if you got nothing to do on a Friday night, you can catch the rookie broadcaster and me and my able commentator Nick Vodiatis commentating the race at Sonoma tomorrow night.
Good to see Nick back in the commentary box as well. It's been far too long since he's been a regular on our platforms in the booth. Trucker, what are you hoping for with regards to Super Formula on this circuit, please?
Clean race, just something clean. Like it's some of the. I don't think it's going to be. I think it's one of those tracks that's pretty new to the service. It's been the official track for the week, but that's not to say that everybody has gone and done a bunch of laps with it. So it's going to be interesting. I think the racing style is going to be a lot different to what we said. There's where I made that mistake. I wasn't watching what I was doing, so that buggered it for me, but that's okay. Yeah, I think the style of racing in the Super Formulas is going to be pretty frenetic for the first few laps. Tyres is going to be a big one. Guys looking after their tyres. I think you'll not so much wearing them out, but I think there's a lot of potential to get the tyres hot here. There's a lot of high G-load corners and that sort of thing. So tyre management, I would suggest, is probably going to be a thing. Trying to manage your tyres for the length of a fuel stint. So it's going to be interesting. You're going to have your normal guys that are going to be up there at the front. So it's going to be interesting, actually. I'm looking forward to it.
Indeed, and as are we, mate. Thank you for that. Let's bring in Sam Chapman at this point in time. We'll let you go, Trucker. We'll catch up at the end of Super Formula.
Certainly will. Thank you.
Chapo, no team orders at play at Locked Up Sim Sports, it would seem. A first and a second by the skin of your teeth, and unfortunately the inverts just aren't working for you. The full inverts, you always seem to get caught up in somebody else's garbage or being a sacrificial lamb within it.
Yeah, I do, don't I? So, whether that is ID10T errors or bad luck is probably up for interpretation. But, yeah, it's, you do just have to dodge so much in the inverts, and if you're on the wrong time, or pushing a little hard, and get yourself getting this year, because I did. So, to be honest, I was pretty happy to get to where I did, and, just not in the lap and stuff. So, yeah, pretty good night in the office. Great run around with the end there. Didn't fall for my rubbish like Glenn did race one, so that was unfortunate, but good race.
Indeed, very nicely done. Hey, just while I think of it, good to see your team performing well. I mean, obviously, it's a couple of extra championship points that you could have had but don't, but great to see Adam Proctor back at the Pontiac.
Absolutely, it's always good to have a few more mobile cars out there putting on a show. So yeah, no, the team's performing well. We've got a few good performers of the team now, so that's good. They're showing up all over the place. But yeah, I could have done with some team orders, but he was.
I like it. I like it. Not asking for much at all. Hey, just while I think of it too, ladies and gentlemen, it was the Hancock 24 Hours of Portimão. Actually, this circuit here, I knew I'd seen it mentioned somewhere. If the 24 Hour of the Hancock series on here this weekend, that was one thing I forgot to mention. And Formula E's on the Berlin course near the airport there. That's number 2. So they're the only other 2 motorsport events on this weekend that I hadn't yet mentioned. Now I have. Chapo. Stringing some nice results together here, mate. I mean, obviously, Cito's going to be the spanner in the works for you in the absence of John Merritt. It always seems to be a pulse boy that's keeping you honest.
Yeah, it is. I think, again, he's raced well this season. It's just, you know, it will depend what happens with these reverse grids. It can fluctuate pretty heavily. But yeah, he does seem to be, you know, by pace comparison, I've had decent pace, but, you know, to dropouts or crashes or whatever, it's not really converted. So, and I think he's probably the pace, but it could fluctuate a whole lot depending on, you know, what happens, particularly in those reverse grid races going forward.
Coming back to you in just a tick, mate, going around the grounds. Nearly half-time at Suncorp, Thursday night football, Dolphins, Seagulls. Dolphins leading, Seagulls 20-16, and the home side with the advantage at the change of ends, it would seem. And quickly in the AFL, well, one-way traffic there at the moment. Melbourne 8-10-50 lead Melbourne 3-1-19, 2 minutes out from the half-time break there as well. So big Thursday night of sport, including here on the platforms of the GSRC. We're steering you through a big night of motorsport, but we're also staying across everything else that's unfolding. Chapo, initial impressions of this circuit and how you think it'll play out in Super Formula as well, and whether you'd like to see a wet race or not. Oh, actually, no. Chapo's muted himself. I can't go to Chapo at the moment. So with that in mind, we may as well just take a bloody break. Chapo's left me high and dry. I was coming back to ask him one more question. I'm now just throwing to a break. This is the Thursday night motorsport on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. We do it with thanks to Spreyton Cider, but we also do it with thanks to the great people scrolling across the bottom of your screen here, including Waste Options. Spreyton Cider, of course. No, actually, big news there with Spreyton Cider this week. Pete Matson confirming that they've come on board in a bigger capacity as the naming rights sponsor of the club. So more clarification from Pete with regards to what exactly that means in due course. MWave Australia, Flash Graphics as well. Great to have them on board, and also as well, ladies and gentlemen, you would have seen them scrolling across your screen there, Orbic Australia and Lobesy Racing. Have a look at this again on the way out to the break. One of the closest finishes of the campaign so far, 8/1000ths of a second. That's what it looks like. Hard to call it live. Thank God for live timing. You do well to be able to pick that off the naked eye. We are grabbing a break. We'll hopefully hear from Chapo a little bit later on. We were hoping to get his thoughts on Sonoma and also what might happen here in Super Formula, but we're going to find out anyway on the other side of the break. So Sam Chapman, Adam Proctor, and also Tim Harris having race wins tonight in Spreyton Cider Formula V. 12 races down, 18 to come. Sonoma the next stop for them. A break for us, and back to Portimão on the other side. And 60 minutes of Super Formula Light Racing. Spreyton Cider Thursday night motorsport continues for you. The second Thursday of May, the 4th of the term on the platforms of the GSRC across Facebook, Twitch and YouTube. Don't go away. The continuation for you, ladies and gentlemen, of Thursday Night Motorsport on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club all around Australia, or indeed all around the world, be it that you're tuning in via Facebook, Twitch or YouTube. It is nice to have you along for the ride. This is night 4 of week 4 of term 2 for 2024. As I said at the top of the show, all the even numbers lining up just beautifully tonight. And plenty more where that came from for you tomorrow night, of course. For Friday Night Motorsport, as the boys have already said, the NASCARs from Sonoma. We'll do a deep dive into the schedule for you a little bit later on, but right now, this is the assignment, this is the task at hand, and this is how it looks for you. May 11, 2024, 9:40 a.m. in the morning. No rain in sight at the moment. 23 degrees the ambient, 28 on track, 44% humidity. 4 km/h winds. Buckley's chance of rain by the look of that at the moment. 4.58 kilometres this configuration of the course. We are using the Formula 1 Grand Prix variant as opposed to the MotoGP variant we had a little bit earlier on. And this is what we have as far as a points scenario is concerned at the moment in the Super Formula Light Championship. This is where we sit. This is where things stand. Jackson Ray Hunter on top, 149 points plays. Adam Lavis, 127. David Baz, 126. Aidan Luthwaite after that win last week, 122. Cam Culverwell, Matt Schmidtke, Mark Gomez, and Jackson Dial, Brett Barker, and Josh Robertson making up the top 10. A slightly depleted field tonight. Only 26 cars lining up on the grid here as the checkered flag waves at the end of the qualifying session. Cars will be lining up very shortly. How are we looking? Can we get a shot of the sky and just see whether it's cloudy or... Yeah, no, it's bone dry, isn't it? There is no rain in sight there at the Algarve circuit. It looks like we are set fair for another dry outing, although we're pleading for some wet weather races at some point, ladies and gentlemen, just so that we can say we're bringing you something, you know, different, something against the grain. Because we've made such a big hoo-ha, someone doubts about this Tempest weather system, and we've barely implemented it yet. So we wait to see what the race will provide for us here as the clock counts down on qualifying. The checkered flag is out and at the ready. And now it's just a matter of winding that carryover time out until such time as the cars will line up on the grid. So it's going to be Ray Hunter v Luthwaite on the run of the first corner, but it's a step into the unknown. It's a slightly different venture to usual tonight, Daniel Correa, because we upped the ante. These boys will be going 60 minutes after sprint racing last week and only 40 minutes in the first 2 weeks, so a slightly longer slog tonight.
Yeah, definitely. And with that 60 minutes does come the potential for the weather to evolve and rain affect the later half of the race. I'm not sure if that's what will happen, because it does seem very dry at the moment, and I'm not sure if we'll see a front come in. Usually you would see grey in the sky if that were the case, but time will tell. 60 minutes, we should be in for a good one. We saw how good the Formula Vs were here. Hopefully the Formula Lights do not disappoint.
9:50 a.m. in the morning, clock only moving like it would in the real world. 1 second equals 1 second, not 1 second equals 2 seconds. We're not moving twice as fast. We're moving in normal time format tonight. The carryover time, the Algarve circuit is 9 hours behind us at the moment. So if it was to translate into real time, it'd be 6:50, not 8:50 as we bring you this race, ladies and gentlemen, but we're okay with going into prime time for you, and of course sticking around for a post-race show after the fact. Jackson Ray Hunter and Aidan Luthwaite the front row, Mark Gomez, Cam Culverwell the second row, Brett Barker, Trent Allen the third row, David Baz, Jackson Dial the fourth, Matt Schmidtke and Guy Leach from row 5. Row 6 is where you'll find Julian Mookie and John Baldwin. Row 7, Justin Schweikert back on the grid, and Adam Lavis. Row 8, Sam Chapman and David Christensen. Row 9, Paul Wilson, Jaden Green. And row 10, Adam Proctor and Dale Jeffries. Row 11, Greg Heaney, Colin Bennett. Row 12, Mark McNamara and Eduardo Zamora. Row 13, Adam Burhop and Kurt Nomensen. Now, Jeff Adams hasn't set a time, hasn't joined the grid, so we're down to a field of 26 already. We are set to fire. Race 5 of the championship, round 4 of the campaign. Spreyton on the Thursday Night Motorsport Super Formula Light. Let's get it on in Portugal. The field stretches from left to right as they head down the front chute towards turn 1. Ray Hartner's got the jump. Oh, but he's got one. He's flipped and he's locked it up. He's gone left instead of right. He's dropped 3 spots. Make it 2 as he redeems himself on the outside of turn 3. And Aiden Luthwaite leads in Portugal. Took Cam Caldwell with him. Gomez in there behind Ray Hartner. The rest of the field trying to sort themselves out. One car ended up in the weeds. That was Colin Bennett. He's rejoined. 26 start, 26 still running, and a fair bit of position changing happening in the early stages. Gomez, we're riding on board with him. He's got Trent Allen down his inside. He covers that off okay. Ray Hartner up the outside. Caldwell back to second for Jackson. Nicely done on the comeback trail already. But he won't like having that sort of an invoice to Aiden Luthwaite this early in the piece.
Looks to be an incident that occurred back in the field. Adam Proctor seems to have crashed. Looks like Paul Wilson and Adam Burholt may have also had a tangle. They dropped down the positions. Burholt now down in P25. As Aiden Luthwaite is really booking it at the start of this first lap. 1 second down already on Jackson Ray Hartner, who unfortunately did have a bit of a lockup and a wiggle going off to the left. Luckily, didn't get into the gravel because of all the runoff area that we have here at Portimão, so he just falls right back in line. And as you can see, David Baz is looking for a piece of Trent Allen.
And might be able to get him. Does. So Baz to 5th. Allen back to 6th. We're riding with Gomez in 4th place. And Aiden Luthwaite's already a second of the good. The standing lap time around 1:39.091. Those times will trickle down throughout the course of the night. And it's a 1 hour race length distance duration for you here at the Algarve circuit. I keep getting, I'm just dallying between 2 social media platforms at the moment, folks, as we go here, and I keep getting notifications for threads, and you know where you can shove them. Oh, wide goes Justin Schweikert. Threads has only been a thing in the last short while. I haven't joined it yet, and no amount of notifications is going to give me any desire to do so at this point in time. In the meantime, 2 minutes 50 gone. Have a look at this down the inside. David Christensen trying to get his way by, does so on Jaden Green, the locked up SimSport entry back there in 17th at the moment. And Greg Heaney is 18th. Not in that fight right now. He's about 2.4 seconds further abreast. Adam Burholt, Adam Proctor on the tow rope on pit road. So, not a good start of the night for those 2 gentlemen. They're about to go a lap down. He do so. On Aiden Luthwaite, Jackson Ray Hartner, Mark Gomez, Cam Caldwell, David Baz, Trent Allen. We're riding with Baz. Take a lot of speed through turn 1. As Greg Heaney said, the benefits of downforce and aerodynamics.
Just from this top roll bar camera, you can see the undulation and how it changes so dramatically down into hairpin turn here. Multiple lines. You can kind of take it wider if you want, but you end up losing that speed. But if you try and take it too far onto the inside, you need more turning, and that can tend to work against you somewhat. As Caldwell tried to go up on the inside, and it did it. David Baz just putting those left tyres into the gravel, but gets it out okay. And just looking at this, so from Mark Gomes all the way down to Brett Barker, looks like everybody's within that 1 second mark. And we're only 4 minutes 27 in.
Indeed. Lots unfolded in the first 4.5 minutes of a 1 hour race. A long way to go, making their way around the final sequence of corners now and back down towards the main straight. Here's what happened to Adam Proctor as he returned to the racetrack.
Out of there, so...
Oh, is that him parking up for the night? Yes, it is. Adam Proctor is parked up for the night.
I don't know if Burholt had the same. Oh, so yeah, he's just waited for everyone to get past. That's why that's registered.
Yep.
And it looks like
And Proctor's realised that from a lap down, there's no way back into the contest. Dale Jeffries having a moment.
oh yes, too tight on the corner. Yeah.
Especially around here, way too tight. So, slowly but surely, we're losing contenders. They're dropping like flies. Down the inside, this is Chapman. This is Chapman trying to get by Baldwin. Does so.
Oh,
That's John Baldwin. Oh, Baldwin back on the outside. Hung tough, held it, got it done. Well done, John Baldwin. So Chapman now with all the work to do once more. He's got Lavis for company behind him. This is an easy enough category to work out, ladies and gentlemen, unlike the Porsches that we used to have in this slot, and unlike Super 2 and Super 3 in the Monday entree slot. One blanket covers all, one class racing. So where you are is where you are. There's none of this first-in-class stuff that we've got to cover off and carry on about. It's all just as it stands on the leaderboard. And I like that about this category. Makes it a little bit easier to decipher. Onto the main straight. Adam Lavis getting the run on Sam Chapman. Goes into 13th. Nicely done.
So looking at some of these gaps, they've really extended. Everyone, you're still seeing red and yellow flashing on that timing tower, which means there are people in close proximity, but they tend to be quite even. I haven't seen too many shuffling of positions. And of course, you've got Normanton and Burhoff that are all the way down the bottom there, as well as Jeffries, 20 seconds back from Colin Bennett in P22. And Luthwaite is still holding steady there, 0.8 the gap to Jackson Rayhana in P2. They've managed to maintain that gap to Mark Gomes in P3, 1.6. And then there seems to be a split as David Baz has slightly fallen off the back of that initial train. And so he is 1 second out from them. And then you have that sprinkled in as you go down the order. We're watching David Christensen at the moment, who's chasing down Justin Schweikart. And that's Jay Green there in P15, and you would expect as the race progresses and the tyre wear becomes a factor, and of course in the GSRC in this series we do refueling. They don't generally do refueling in Formula anymore, but in the GSRC we do, so that will come into effect as well. I'll be curious to see how that all shuffles up. Schweikart manages to go down the inside of the turn one, takes position away from Justin Green. David Christian still holding steady. Move up a couple of positions here. Guy Leach now in the Fallout liveried SFL. Chasing down William Mookie in P8. And yeah, it seems like we've found that groove, Zach. They've fallen into a steady groove, and I think until we see the pit strategy come into effect, it's most likely going to stay like this for a good while.
Yeah, until at least the first round of pit stops. And that's the unknown as well, Daniel, whether it's going to be 1 or 2 stops tonight, mate, for this race. Usually the 1 hour races that we've had in this time slot with the Porsches and the GT3s have been 2-stop affairs. If the fuel adjustments are set the same way, no reason why this shouldn't be the same. Rayhana's found Luthwaite. Rayhana's by Luthwaite. Rayhana's going to lead us in Portugal. Unless Luthwaite wants to force the issue on the inside, he does so. Have a look at this. Side by side through 1 and 2. On the brakes to 3. Rayhana, if he can hang it tough, might be able to get the run up the hill and does so. Wedges down the inside of Young Aiden Lutzwaite and Rayhana had to work hard for it, but finally leads in Portugal. Lutzwaite's not done yet, though. Lutzwaite's not done yet. To the outside at the bottom of the circuit.
It was a great procession there from those two. But yeah, Rayhana managed to get the advantage by holding the inside, and he kept that minimum speed up well, and so Lutzwaite really couldn't get past him on the outside of the turn. So he'll fall back into P2 now. Mark Gomes still floating around that 1 second mark. He has gained a little bit of time due to that fight. As Slater gave me there, why can't Rayhana do this in Super 2? I'm not sure. Maybe downforce is that much of a factor.
Yep. It's a good question, though. A very good question. Round they go again. Rayhana, Lutzwaite, Gomez, then Calderwell, Allen and Baz, then Barker, Leach, Dial, Baldwin, then Chapman, the top 11 at the moment. Down the inside, Lutzwaite's going to get Rayhana back here. This is slowly but surely setting up to be one of the great duke outs on the platforms of the GSRC between this pair. Daniel Snedden, he doesn't turn up, I think. Yeah, that's a fair point. Oh dear. Lutzwaite, Rayhana. It's a race in 5 at the front because they've got those next 3 latching on. Baz is 6th, holding off Barker and Leach. And a lot of, as Daniel has already alluded to, orange and yellow numbers on the left-hand side of your screen in that totem pole. They're the margins, ladies and gentlemen. Anything between 0 and half a second is orange. Anywhere between half a second and 1 second is yellow. That gives you an idea as to the close running we're witnessing here at the moment, the close proximity in which the cars are to one another. We've got Adam Burhop still out there, but still a lap down, so it's going to be a long night for him. Kurt Nomanson has been into pit lane as well. He's the last of those on the lead lap currently. So for some, it's now just a case of salvaging a result or something out of tonight, because the chances of a podium or even a top 10 have fallen well and truly by the wayside. Here comes Rayhana again. Look at the toe, look at the slipstream, look at the draft. Down the outside, Rayhana. Lutzwaite's going to cover him off this time by good, smart, tactical play there from Lutzwaite to defend the line on the run to turn 1 and suggest to Jackson Rayhana that if he wants to find a way by, it's going to have to be the detour, the long way round, the outside route. Not right now. Rayhana's having to play cat and fiddle and tuck in behind and follow through. Here's Lavis getting gobbled up in 15th place. Firstly by Mookie, then by Christensen, his teammate. Lavis gets on by on the inside of Christensen, now goes back out of the chute of Mookie, and this is a good little battle pack. They're all trying to chase they're all trying to chase Julian Mookie. There's a 3rd member of that party, it's Paul Wilson. There's a 4th in Greg Heaney. That's what threw me off. There's more members in this fight than I gave it credit for. And Adam Burhop, just to throw the cat amongst the pigeons, is actually in there as well as a lapped back marker. Oh boy, it's spicy at the moment. One little slip up from these guys could be so costly, Daniel. Lose 2-3 seconds, lose the draft, lose two or three positions, and then all of a sudden you're running a different race.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Well, when you're talking about the speed that these cars can achieve and how fast they travel around the circuit, of course, the fastest lap at the moment belongs to, if I have this correct, it belongs to Jackson Rayhana. It's a 135.42. I don't think anybody has done a faster one. Lutzwaite right there, though, as they cross the line. We'll see if that updates. And no, it doesn't. Rayhana still has a fastest lap with a 4.2, but Aiden Lutzwaite there with a 35.48. So they are matching each other neck and neck as Jackson Rayhana makes the overtake down on the main straight for lap 10. So he will lead this time around. And if we actually have a look at the lap differences here, you can see very, very close there on lap 5 where Rayhana set that fastest time. They were only 0.062 apart. It looks like Luthwaite did have a bit of a disadvantage going into 6 and 7, had the advantage in lap 8, and then with the lap just gone, 0.1 was the difference. So they are right there with each other, and it looks like Mark Gomes can't seem to match up. He keeps floating outside that 1 second mark. However, all it takes is a small mistake from either of these two when they're overtaking. Maybe they touch wheels. Maybe one of them hits the side pod, and he's right back in the game. So we'll see how it goes. A good job there from Caldwell and Allen, though, to maintain there on Gomes. So technically, it's 5 fighting at the front.
So Rehana, Luthwaite, Gomez, Caldwell, and Allen, the top 5. David Baz running a lonely race in 6th. Guy Leach under pressure from Barker and Dial. We're about to complete lap 10, 16 minutes gone, so that's going to get us to about 48 minutes on those numbers. Throw a pit stop in there as well. We're running 1 minute 35s at this point in time, so if I round that out to 1 minute 36, just for interest, because it's only 1:35.4 and we're not sure the times are going to deviate, and we're also going to have pit stops. 1:36 would mean 10 laps every 16 minutes, so the numbers work out very nicely there. So we've got to take maybe 4 off that for the final 10 minutes of the race. Transits a pit lane. Look, I wouldn't be... I don't think I'm going to be far off the marker if I say 37 laps is the journey tonight. 36, 37. That's a rough guess. 10 laps every 16 minutes. And there's 4 minutes of carryover to the next 16, which is 64. So take 3 off that. And you get back inside the hour, but then you have the 2 pit stops in. So I think, yeah, I think 37 is about where we're headed tonight. Let's just see how that
It's gone.
Oh, Jackson Dial, good recovery. Saved it, but bogged it down, washed off all his speed. Yeah, let's just see if that guesstimate is going to work in my favour or not at the end of the night. It's a very poor one, to be fair. It's always hard when it's not a nice round number, if you know what I'm saying. Aiden Luthwaite and Jackson Rehana still arguing over the same piece of real estate. How long can they continue at this pace and this speed and intensity for? It's at a high level tonight. Luthwaite's right there following Rehana through. Rehana's found his way back to the front now. It is just slowly but surely shaping up to be one of the great tussles in GSRC history, this one. One of the great rivalries as well in a championship season.
I don't know about you, Zach, but I keep hopefully looking at the sky and being like, show me grey.
Exactly.
A bit of grey.
Yeah.
But I don't see any, so it looks like it's going to be high and dry for the rest of this one, the full 60 minutes. And yeah, if you have a look at the gaps now from everyone back, they have all fallen off. Everyone's lost each other's toe there in the middle and tail end of the grid. So there's only a handful of battles, one of which you are watching. It's the one for the lead. Aiden Luthwaite doing a really good job here, tailing Jackson Rehana. Wonder which one of these guys is going to blink first when it comes to the pit stops.
Exactly. Only time will tell. A long way to go here at the Algarve International Circuit. The newest on the platform. Our first visit here on the platform is the GSRC for Thursday night. We've got a Monday night visit here in the not too distant future, I'm fairly certain. So looking forward to that. But in the meantime, we focus on Aiden Luthwaite. All over the back of Jackson Rehana like a cheap suit. Having a look to the inside, then thinking better of it. We're almost at quarter race distance. Third race distance, I should say. Quarter's been gone, come and went. Did so about 5 minutes ago. Third race distance. 60-minute timer on the clock tonight. That's slightly longer than the usual for us. but no less fun. These races have been enjoyable. As Daniel says, rain would be good, but it's not coming tonight. We'll wait and see where that will greet us in the weeks ahead. I love actually. I know we were bagging the absolute living daylights out of it. Oh, Lutz Wait. Ray Harner slams the door shut. I know we were absolutely slanging it and bashing it the other night. But the EA Sports F1 platform, the best thing going for that is that if you are setting up your own, standalone Grand Prix, you're just in single player mode, whatever the case may be, and you're just making your own race with your own rules and whatever else, you can set the weather up to vary throughout the course of the race. So you can start in the dry and then end in the absolute tipping down rain. Lutz Wait back to the lead as they cross the line. Ray Harner had him at the post. That could be important at the end of the day, but Lutz Wait with the fastest lap of the race goes back to the lead, 1:35.342.
We can see a couple of people already coming into the pits there. If you have a look at the timing tower, you'll notice that some drivers have an L and a number next to their name. That is a lap in which they pit. And so everyone at the back end of that has pit. The latest ones being Kai Leach, Adam Lavis, and it says Jeffries is out, so he's pulled in, pulled out of the car. So we are down to 23. And looks like Schwarkart also comes into the pits here on lap 13. But as for the front runners, all still out on track. Lutz Wait leading by 0.14 of a second. As Zach said, fastest lap last time by 35.34. And Jackson Ray Harner with a 1:35.68.
Going around the grounds for you. Carlton lead Melbourne 10.4.64 to 4.3.27 at the MCG. Oh, geez, that was defensive from Lutz Wait. The door still ajar, though. Ray Harner down the inside. These two are going to swap over again.
Ray Harner did it. Really smart there. Really smart.
Lutz him through. That was the impressive thing about that is Lutz Wait just conceded. He didn't force the issue.
I'm going to challenge you slightly there, and I don't think he let him through, because what Jackson did was actually a very textbook move when you're defending into a corner like turn one. So he pulls up to the right hand side, and then he essentially just gives Aiden the car width of room. So Aiden can't do anything when they get to the corner. He can turn, but he's going to hit the car on his right. And so Jackson just pushed it as far as he could, therefore meaning that Aiden had to take the widest approach and lost the position. So that's very, very smart. But of course, that goes back and forth. Aiden will be able to do that the next time by when he approaches from on the main straight as they come across for the next lap. So it's good to see the racecraft. You can see how experienced some people are by where they position their cars when they're doing overtakes like that, or if they're defending and whatnot. So Jackson would ideally want the inside line to defend, but the problem is when you do that, you don't have the speed that the car following you has, and so they're going to dictate where they go. You have absolutely no choice in that. The only way you can defend successfully is if they're going to come into the pits.
Lane. That just about answers our next question. When will they zig and zag, and what sort of fuel range are we looking at tonight? If 15, 16 laps is the longest they can run, the fuel window is going to start for the run home at the end of lap 21 for 16 laps to the checkered flag on lap 37, as we think it'll be. And it's an enormous amount of traffic now making its way on a pit lane. Have a look at them. Ray Harner, Lutz Wait, Gomez, Coldwell, Barker, Dial, Chapman, Baldwin, Mookie, all on pit road. Alan Baz, Christensen continue on.
Ooh.
More of Bennett Wilson, and look at that. Lutz Wait picks Ray Harner. Christensen goes through to third for the moment, but he's still got to stop. That was a 5.5 second stop from both of them. So it would seem as though they're running short here, Daniel Correa-Sarr. and then we'll look to do the long run home to the checkered flag. That is an almightily short stop for the amount of fuel they probably needed to take on board if they wanted to run a long second stint. But there are so many cars running short on this stint. It's rather interesting. And what's even more interesting, I'm just looking down the order. We've lost Dale Jeffries, we've lost Kurt Nommensen. Adam Burhoff, the last of the runners, sitting there in 23rd place at the moment, a lap down still. Trent Allen, David Baz, David Christensen did not stop that time by, nor did Paul Wilson or Mark McNamara. Just about everybody else did. And that means almost certainly we're looking at a two-stop race. Almost certainly, as the rest of the field makes their way in now, we're looking at a fuel range that you can stop. If you've gone long on the second stint, you're looking at 16 laps, which is 32. So you're looking at a 5-lap run home, or a 7-lap run home if you've got 15. But if you're running short, then the critical lap number is 21 for a 16-lap run and 22 for a 15. So keep an eye on that. There's a lot of variance there. We could see a very mixed run home with regard to who pits when.
Yeah, just have a look at those pit times too. So as you said, Aiden Luthwaite did a 5.57. Jackson Rehana did 6.58. So there was a second difference between the two. But then if you have a look at some of the other people that have pit, for example, our resident benchmark when it comes to fuel saving, when Denchi isn't in the server, is Adam Lavis, and he only did 4.7. So he's obviously looking at a fuel saving strategy, which we know him to be. Like we know that he does that. But between Luthwaite and Rehana, the question will be, who does that benefit? If they pit in again, one would assume Rehana goes for the slower pit stop, for the faster pit stop the second time by, and maybe he pips him in the pit then.
So here's the next thing for you, right? I didn't get to go back and finish the point because of everything that's going on here. Trent Allen all over the back of Mark Gomez and Cam Culverwell behind them. I didn't get to finish going around the grounds, and I just wanted to go to Suncorp Stadium where it's all locked up, ladies and gentlemen, as Trent Allen tries to go for third. Can't do it. Dolphins Seagulls, 22 all, 18 minutes to go, and so keep an eye on that. We'll keep you updated with the footy. We'll update you on full-time scores when they come to hand. In the meantime, we are watching Trent Allen riding up the tyres as he makes his way through. Sam Chapman, no, don't throw it away, Chapman, don't throw it away! See ya. Bad luck. Oh dear. Beached. Bogged. And waiting for passers-by to make their way through on the bitumen. That's a costly moment for Chapman. Down to 17th now. Culverwell to 4th. Down the inside of Trent Allen. I wish we could keep track of the amount of overtakes tonight. Legitimate overtakes. It is terrific to see clean racing and hard racing. I mean, you and I have watched enough racing on these platforms in GT3 land, be it Porsche GT3 or the multi-manufacturer format that we see on a Monday night. Here we go. Liam Banks. Oh, no. Yes. No, Chapo. I need to live vicariously through you. Good on you, Liam Banks. Nice to have you on board. And well done last night as well. Hey, no. The point is, we watch GT3 racing and we watch Porsche GT3 racing, and there's a lot of reluctance to go about overtaking. There's this desire, it would seem, this racecraft rhythm to follow the leader and just go through the motions through those first two segments of the race and then get the elbows out and pass if required, or if you're in a position to do so, the shots don't get fired as early. Whereas here, there's a lot more overtaking going on a lot earlier in the piece. Off go Julian Mookie and Jackson Dial. Mookie and Dial off the road. This is how it happened.
Same thing that Sam Chapman did. Yeah. Spot and everything.
And what's Mookie going to do? Is he going to join him in sympathy? Oh, no! The rejoin. The bloody rejoin. And those two are going to be on the tow rope because I reckon that'll have bent the front end. Dial's certainly on the tow rope. Mookie's been able to continue on, but he's limping back to pit lane. I think Mookie's out of business.
Oh, it's a blind crest too.
Yeah. It is such a bad luck moment for both those men. Dial was just trying to get back on the racetrack. Mookie would not have seen him coming. Manly have slotted a penalty goal to lead 24-22 over the Dolphins at Suncorp. For those of you playing along at home, watching your Thursday night football. Again, I stress the importance of this. And you're going to need to do it more so when we get to the Olympics, folks. That's a fair point from Liam Banks. He's not wrong. Well, he's not far off right, I should say. I mean, it's not every corner, but it's 95% of them. When we get to the Olympics in July, folks, you're going to need all the monitors in the world to set up your sports bar so that you can watch 9 Gem and 9 Go all live and free. And 9 Go now in HD in metropolitan markets as well on Channel 99. Just beware of that, FYI. I haven't done a Facebook post about that yet. I'll do a PSA, public service announcement, tomorrow about that. But the other point as well is we watched Luke Wade all over the back of Ray Hunter again, so they've latched onto each other once more. They have not let each other go all night. This has been terrific stuff. The other point in that is that there'll also be AFL and NRL continuing throughout the Olympics, so you'll need your sports bar setups ready to fire during the Olympics, and you'll need an extra monitor to watch us as well. So all the monitors in the world required, especially on a Thursday night. AFL on one screen, NRL on the other, us on the third. We don't care in what order or what size or what volume, just as long as you're tuning in. Lap 20, we're past the halfway mark. So half a lap to end the 20th lap and then continue on. And as I say, just looking at the clock, that'll be 28 minutes to go. As I reckon, as I said earlier, I reckon we're going 37 laps tonight. I'll only be one out either way, based on the numbers I've crunched. It'll depend on overtime and when they hit the start-finish line to get the white flag. The timing's there. An apology exchange going through the text channels for Jackson Dial and Julia Mookie. Their night done. Both out of business. That's really unfortunate. Jaden Green now showing in pit lane as well. Colin Bennett's already been in. The field is cleansed. Mookie's got back out there to continue on, but Dial has not as yet. He's still crunched up in the lane trying to get repaired. And Adam Burhop has, it would appear as though he's now parked up out of the race as well. And so the retirement bill, the retirement toll is rising here on the platforms of the GSRC on a Thursday night. We've got Brett Barker on screen there, and he's chasing David Bass.
So we're seeing some of these guys start to close up on each other again. We just saw Greg Heaney side by side here with David Christensen as they go down towards turn 1. Oh, David managing to hold that one. And so we all expect there to be a second pit stop at the tail end of the race. And Ray Harner's actually done a really good job to stay ahead of Aiden Luthway. I thought he might catch him again, but Ray Harner got a little sneaky there as they were passing one of the back markers. He took that draft going up onto the main straight, so that allowed him to keep ahead. And it looks like Culverwell did manage to get past Mark Gomes. They too were in close proximity, and then it drops all the way back to that other fighter we were watching, which was Brett Barker and David Baz there. They are very close. And it looks like Greg Heaney has managed to drop off the back of David there. And Adam Lavis is looking for a move as well on Sam Chapman. That is the direct cars behind. There you go. That's the beautiful green livery. Bailey Ladder's entry there for the Aussie racers. Again, I'm very curious to see how much fuel he saves, knowing that he has, I believe he has the shortest fuel stop of anyone, or the shortest pit stop, I should say, of anyone. 4.7, yes, of all the people that are in, still in this race, Adam Lavis had the fastest the shortest, I should say, pit time in the box.
Have a look at this. Down ahead, Chapman on the inside to go to 13th on Greg Heaney. No, not much between them, almost a touch of wheels there. Chapman did well to hold on the inside. Dolphins over at Suncorp to now lead Manly 26-24. And the sprinkling of spectators on hand there at Suncorp. I went there a week and a bit ago. Sorry, no, I went there last Friday night, sorry. It's been a long fortnight. I went there last week. There were 40,000 people. Tonight they'd be lucky to be 10. The amount of empty seats there, quite extraordinary. Oh, well, it should make it easy for getting out on public transport at the end of the day. 35 and 3/4 minutes gone. Riding on board with Adam Lavis, 15th in the motor race at the moment. Chasing Greg Heaney, Sam Chapman, Justin Schwalkert and David Christensen. I've been a bit slack in recent weeks doing a career, so I haven't always remembered to share the broadcast across to my personal pages. So let everybody know that we're on air and this is what we're doing and where and why and how. I got some fan feedback tonight suggesting that I could do better than sim racing, and I was like, not in the current climate, and given current circumstances, I'll happily stay here with this club, who I've been with now for 4 years, it must be noted. And hello to the people that are tuning in that have seen that comment, by the way. I'll happily stay here where my Adam Lavis to pit lane at the end of lap 22, so too Matt Schmidtke. Where my commentary services are not just required but also appreciated. So, yes, I had to make that point whilst we've been on air here tonight. I don't normally comment on the thread whilst we're going, but I felt the need to on that occasion. Let's pick up Brett Barker now, still chasing David Baz. And this, much like the lead battle between Rayhana and Luthwaite, which Rayhana's now got a stranglehold of, it's fair to say, 1.8 the margin. This battle's been raging for a while as well, Daniel.
Yes, it has. David Baz has managed to stay ahead for the majority of this battle. We know how aggressive David Baz can be. We've seen him in action many times before, and so Brett Barker, for a move to stick for Brett, he's really got to push back with the same kind of aggression here. Now, the obvious choice is the one that's coming up now. He will tuck in behind. As we'll switch over to the roll hoop here, so you'll notice that I'll tuck in behind here, and we'll get a crazy burst of speed due to that draft. These cars don't have DRS like you would see on Formula 1 cars. They have just a standard static wing. He'll go to the right side, shoot up down the inside, which will give him a better line into turn one, and he'll get that move done. But watch David Baz. Who is that off the track? Trent Allen. So watch David
Allen. And jeez.
Yeah. Oh, and Adam Lavis has crashed. What's going? No, maybe that's just him slowing down.
Oh, jeez. There's carnage all over the place at the moment. Stuff happening everywhere. It's great. Greg Heaney to pit lane now. Now, Trent Allen, unfortunately, was latching onto the back of that battle with David Baz and Brett Barker. Had been hassling David Baz for laps, but now he's got a bit more work to do. He's a second down the road, and a second in these things is as good as a mile, given how close these guys are on lap times. Now,
oh, who's that? Schmidtke.
Matt Schmidtke.
Yeah, that was Schmidtke, right?
Doesn't,
so I'm just going to
be fair, not terribly worried. Daniel, he is a lap down in the greater scheme of things.
Oh, no.
Rayhana, Luthwaite, Calverwell, and Gomez.
Maybe it's the same thing Sam Chapman did, and Jackson Dial, I think.
Yep, Jaden Green, Jackson Dial, Adam Burr, Hopdale, Jeffries, Kurt Nomenton and Adam Proctor. The retirement so far. We've lost 6 of the 27 that started. We've got 21 left. We've got 21 minutes on the clock. And we've got Aidan Luthwaite to pit lane now for the final stop of his night. And Rayhana will follow suit, no doubt, in a couple of laps. But yes, Rayhana went longer on the fuel stop. Luthwaite went shorter. And it's paid dividends for Rayhana thus far. Luthwaite will be hoping for the undercut to work in his favour this time around. Otherwise, Rayhana is staring down a race victory.
I'm curious to see what the pit time will be for Luthwaite. Let's hear here. 6.98 it was. So, yeah, just more than a second further, or longer, I should say, than his previous one. So Ray Hahn will be looking for the in-lap of his life. As he comes around the circuit, Tim Chapman close but no cigar there to Dave Christensen for E10. And David Baz dropped off quite significantly there. Oh, actually, he's had an incident. That's why. We'll jump on and see what happened there, because I saw Trent Allen was ahead of him, and I thought, how did that happen? Here we go. Too tight, too much. Yeah. So very easy to do in these cars. Luckily, it's out of the way, no problem. You can see that Mark Gomes is now in attack range. Oh, they've been switching back and forth here between Caldwell and Mark Gomes, but Caldwell is still maintaining P2. Guy Leach also in attack range there to Luthwaite. The question will be, does Ray Hahn... He actually stayed out, so he's going longer again.
Well, we did say that was a possibility at this point of the race. Gomez to the inside of Caldwell. So Mark goes to second. Caldwell wants to force the issue and does so. Going three. Got it done. Oh, this is good stuff. Great racing at the Algarve International Circuit. Watch Gomez. The slipstream effect here is immense, and down the inside he goes once more. Joe Baldwin, who's just joined us in Central Commentary, we'll hear from him in a moment. He said it was bloody tough around here in a Formula V. It's been tough work for these guys in Super Formula tonight, because you cannot rest on your laurels. You've got to work so hard for your race position. And again, Gomez trying to hold off young Cam Caldwell there, and does so. Hey, Joe, this has been terrific viewing.
It has. Look, like I did say this, you know, I think that the racing's going to be a lot different than what we see at the V's. We've got, well, Cam's having another crack at Gomez there. He's a pretty tough character, is Mr. Caldwell. Yeah, and it's proven to be like the field probably spread out a little bit more than what I was actually expecting it to. But in saying that, when the guys actually get together and they're racing hard, like Cam and Mark are here, they're just putting on a great show. So, and it's been really, really clean right from the start. There was a bit of an incident there. One of the guys got out of control. It was just a race incident. There was nothing we could do there. But unfortunately, young Jackson just didn't use his F3 and so he's got a bit of a hit to his championship points, as well as not finishing tonight. So, but other than that, like, the guys have been really well behaved tonight. It just shows what's possible with the right car track combination. I think we've hit on a bit of a golden goose with this one. I'm thoroughly enjoying it.
So, no, it's been terrific viewing. I was wondering what sort of spectacle we'd be in for, and with 17 minutes to go, we still don't know how this is going to play out. So, just for curiosity's sake, Aiden Luthwaite's second stop was only 7 seconds, so they are merely splash and dash stops here tonight at the Algarve International Circuit. Now, that raises the next point. Where are we going to be with regards to lap numbers? Because Ray Hahn is about to complete lap 27. No, I think we're going to be okay, because there's still a transit down pit lane to come, but as I was saying to you guys earlier, it's touch and go.
Tell me, 27 divided by 3.
Yeah, well, that's 27 divided by 3 is 9. But here's the point. Here comes Ray Hahn around onto the main straight. Now, is he going to pit lane, or is he...
That's right.
No, he's still going.
I'm looking here, we're 37.6 seconds across the line. Gap was between Jackson and Aiden.
Yeah.
And Aiden's done 2 pit stops. I've got my iRace control here, so it's going to be interesting to see where they're at once Jackson does take his pit. Whether or not he's actually been saving a bit of fuel might come into it as well, because those guys were having a hell of a battle there earlier on in the race. I was watching.
The point that I'm looking at, though, and I'm really curious with it, now that Aiden Luthwaite's coming around here, I think this answers the question for me, considering that he's going to be relatively in proximity to where Ray Hahn is. He's come across the line at 44.5, 15.5 to go, and I was saying earlier 10 laps every 16 minutes, so it is 10 laps to go. We will get to 37. I feel a lot better now.
Yep.
Matching
Haven't worked
pace
that
too. They're matching pace. So I was just watching
they are.
those last laps there, and Ray Harner with a 35.77, Luthwaite with a 35.73. So based on the intervals and the pit lane transit time, I'm seeing an average pit lane transit time of about 38 seconds, I want to say. A full transit time there. So if we look at the interval, it's going to be
And
close.
it's just whether or not, if Jackson saved just, half a litre of fuel, and, you've got to get in, when it's this tight up the top, and I mean, we all know how good Jackson is, and Aiden, he's fairly new to the club, Aiden Luthwaite, but man, the kid's fast. I'm actually not sure how old Aiden is, but he's a very, very quick character in these cars, so it's going to be interesting to see if Jackson can respond with a nice clean pit stop. He won't want to mess it up to give himself the benefit of bouncing back after his tough week last week.
So Culverwell and Baz also just entering the pits there. Actually, no, sorry, it was just Culverwell that went into the pits. My mistake.
Yep.
Luthwaite
So-
across the line here. What's his time? 35.87 versus
Yeah.
35.84 there. So they are matching pace.
They are to within a hundredth of a second. Now, what's interesting for mine, as we continue on here, we're just watching Sam Chapman now all over the back of Adam Lavis like a cheap suit. But one point of interest here is Rayhana, Barker, Baz, Baldwin, John that is, because Joe's in the booth, Paul Wilson, Eduardo Zamora, they're all yet to stop. And so what's that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of the top 18 are yet to stop. Everybody else is good to go. The checkered flag, it would seem. So there aren't many pit stops left in this race before the field is completely cleansed. Round we go once more. Rayhana's going to take us up onto the main straight. Now, it's interesting here that we're watching Chapman and Lavis, who've completed 2 stops. Rayhana, the pit lane.
Cam Culverwell's just lost it.
Oh, no, Culverwell drops to 7th. Let's have a look at this again.
I think he's just come in here, he's pinched the rear brake. Oh no, he's hit the curb and just he got unsteady just on the apex there. Right as he's grabbed the brake, it's just a little bit up unsettled and pinched the rears, and Randy's gone. That's going to hurt him there coming to the line.
Rayhana and Barker 1 and 2. Baz, they've both gone to the lane. Baz has continued on for the moment, so Baz is going long. Luthwaite's coming through. Rayhana's got him covered. Rayhana's out. Rayhana's slowly but surely getting back up to speed, but Rayhana's the clear leader. He is nearly 4 seconds to the good on young Aiden Luthwaite. Clinical from the Summit SimSport entry.
Yeah, but he did have to slow down there for
Rayhana is the leader.
He had to slow down for Schmidtke, and that actually allowed Luthwaite to get back slightly. He's still outside. They're 2 seconds, the gap there. And you'd imagine both of them are going to the end now. But I'm curious to see if Rayhana will keep this advantage here. What was his pit lane there? 6.9. They even had the same pit stop. It's exactly 6.98 each.
I would say that they both... Oh, no, Jackson! I was just about to say, I think that Jackson's probably got cold tyres and he'll want to just build up his speed on this lap, and a bit of thunder. Wow. He needs to wear 1 pair of socks less, lighten the ride.
Is that a defining moment or what? The first sign of any sort of drama for him tonight. The first marginal slip up that cost him the lead of the race, and now he's a 1.5 seconds behind Aiden Luthwaite, who is the effective race leader. David Baz goes on again to continue on to start lap 31. We have 7 to go at the Algarve International Circuit.
I think the position this is going to put Jackson in now is he hasn't got long. He's got 10 minutes 40 seconds left, and he'll have fresh tyres. He'll be kicking himself right now. I know young Jackson is he's a great racer. He's a great kid, and if he keeps his head together, he'll be right. But seeing how those guys were matching their lap times leading up to his pit stop, I think it's going to be hard for him. I can't imagine that Aiden will hang around behind Matt Schwinke too long here. He's made the move up the inside. He's got by clean, so that was probably going to be about Jackson's only hope, that if he had got held up a little bit, but that wasn't going to happen. And yeah, so the chase is on for Jackson now.
With not much time left.
Anybody keeping stats at home? Total incidents for the race tonight, 244 at this point. iRace Control is a wonderful program.
Indeed.
Sorry, 200 and how many?
It's a great program when it worked. 241?
44.
44 now, yeah.
Yeah, the majority of them though, guys, are like just little off tracks, little 2Xs, half spins, that sort of stuff. There's probably only been 3 or 4 big 4X stuff tonight, so it's been a really clean race. So well done to the guys. I'll leave you guys with it from now to call the last 9 minutes and 5 seconds of the race. We'll pop in after it's all done.
Thank you, Trucker. David Baz to pit lane. We look forward to having a chat with Trucker once it's done, getting the full debrief from race control. And I must admit, Daniel, having him here has given me a nice couple of minutes to just lubricate the tonsils and rest them. It's been a big night, no doubt about that.
It definitely has.
Just updating you from Suncorp. Dolphins now lead Manly Sea Eagles 30-24. There's a minute left on the clock. A minute and 7 seconds left on the clock. Thursday night football about to reach its crescendo, unless Manly can score a converted try in the next minute, in which case then we'll go to golden point. But I'm not holding breath if you're a Manly supporter. Now, yes, Jared Knight making a good point. I don't think NASCAR understands track limits unless you're in the wall. It's okay. It's fair play. Paul Wilson on pit lane to cleanse the field. We're good to race to the checkered flag now. Nice to have you on board, Nigel. Thanks for tuning in. Normally used to be a star of Thursday Night Motorsport on the black stuff, on the bitumen, but is taking the spectator role very seriously in the absence of the Porsche Carrera Cup, of course. In the meantime, have a look at this. This is David Christensen fighting for 10th. Trying to get by John Baldwin and Justin Schweikert in behind them. Don't worry about that. Schweikert's 2.2 down the road, and we've got 6.3 seconds back from Adam Lavis to Greg Heaney. So it's Lavis over the back at Chapman at the moment, and Trent Allen on David Baz. They're the 3 battles on the racetrack at the moment. Nothing else really staring out at us. Julian Mookie's got back out there. He's a lap down. Colin Bennett, the latest retirement, one of 8 tonight. At the end of lap 28. So in a 37-lap race, you've got to complete lap 29 to be classified at 75%. Most of these guys that are still on the racetrack, in fact, all of the guys that are still on the racetrack have been able to do that. They just now need to remain within the server at the end of the session, once the checkered flag flies, to be classified from this point. 4 laps to go at the line for Aidan Luthwaite. In the meantime, here's David Christensen down the inside to go to 9th on John Baldwin. Positional change unless Baldwin wants to force the issue. No, he backs out of it. Now can he get the up and under? Oh, look at this. Look at this.
Not to take away from the battle that we're watching, but you can tell that mistake from Rayhana has affected him mentally, because his pace is nowhere near what it once was. Luthwaite is now 4 seconds down the road. Their last times a 36.05, a 36.98. So unfortunately, it seems to have unsettled him somewhat. And I'm not sure if Jackson's going to be able to get back into that groove. Aiden really doesn't have any pressure, considering that 4-second gap. Possibly there might be an issue when it comes with back markers as they make their way around the circuit, but yeah, unless he makes a mistake, it looks like Jackson will have to settle for second, which is really unfortunate, because he did magic with that pit stop, but it was the cold tires that caught him out. He pushed too hard, too fast. Oh, so does Julian Mookie.
Round. That's Julian Mookie having another spin. Putting the full stop on what a mongrel of a night it's been for him. He's already a lap down. It doesn't matter, really. He will be the last of the classified finishes. He just needs to get at the checkered flag. He just needs to persevere with it a few laps longer. We're on lap 34 now. We're on the run home. Aiden Luthwaite, the leader. 4.2 now the margin to Ray Hunter. That's really bloomed out, hasn't it? So Aiden Luthwaite looking good for back-to-back triumphs here. Julian Mookie a lap down. So too Mark McNamara. Paul Wilson's a lap down. So too Matt Schmidtke. So only 15 cars remain on the lead lap. Only 19 remain in the race. We've lost nearly a third of the field tonight. It's been a race of drama, a race of attrition, a race of great excitement and energy. But in the end, it's slowly fizzling out, except for this battle for fourth. This battle for fourth is literally the last one lighting up on my timing screen at the moment. Apart from maybe David Baz and Trent Allen again in behind. So 4, 5, 6, 7 still up for grabs. Forget about anything else. 3 laps to go. Aiden Luthwaite racing towards another victory for the Whiskey Business Racing Stable. That's full time at Suncorp too, by the way. Dolphins got the better of the Sea Eagles 30-24. So a good win for the Dolphins at their second home ground. Now let's go back to the AFL for those of you in the AFL states that are interested in what's going on there. Carlton 26-point advantage with 15 minutes to play plus time on at the MCG. 12-4-76 plays Melbourne 7-8-50. So the Navy Blues looking good on a Thursday night as well. 3 minutes, 10 seconds to go here. We continue to watch Brett Barker and Cam Culverwell ply their trade. The closest battle on the racetrack. The only battle on the racetrack. Worth keeping an eye on. And up the road just ahead of them is Adam Lavis. I think that was just Pete. No, that can't have been Adam Lavis. But it wasn't Mark Gomez either, because Gomez is about 7 seconds ahead of them. That must have been Julian Mookie or someone further down the order that is within that realm of cars that are more than a lap down now. In the meantime, Julian Mookie has come back out onto the racetrack. He's now 2 laps down on the race leader. Schmidtke, Wilson, McNamara also a lap down. Aiden Luthwaite a lap and a half from home. And there is the advantage now. Jesus, that's bloomed out, hasn't it, in the last 6 laps? Out to 5.284 seconds. It's around 5.7. This guy's found he's found his sweet spot in these cars. There's no doubt about that. And Greg Heaney will be one very happy team owner right now, despite the fact that he himself is buried in the order down in 14th.
Yeah, so that, unfortunately it just seems as though Rehana's been unsettled and just can't seem to bring the pace back in the car as he did. That was an 8 tenths. Luthwaite was faster than Rehana on that last lap. But it's just really unfortunate because it was such a close battle there at the front. But yeah, that slip up has unfortunately cost him that. So Luthwaite, all he really has to do is maintain this consistency here, and he'll be smiling pretty once we hit that checkered flag as it comes round to kick off another lap. And quite possibly the white flag. Yeah, I'll just switch over to Barney. The camera's much lower than it's supposed to be.
Mate, easy doing his job. Yes, he is.
Yes.
Yep. Saw it in the background there. We're 1 from home. Aiden Luthwaite staring down another win in the wings and slicks and the Super Formula lights.
One more lap. That's all that Aiden needs. Nice and easy. Nothing too strenuous. Almost visions of Max Verstappen on a race weekend, except not Miami.
Yes. What about Lando?
Yeah.
What a great story that is for Formula One, though.
It really
been
is.
far too long since McLaren's been a regular competitor at the pointy end of the tree, and they've now nabbed a win at one of the more difficult circuits on the calendar, and all of a sudden, everything to play for going to Monaco. We'd like to see Ferrari back in there in the mix. We'd like to maybe see Mercedes as well. Well, give or take. We'll take George. We'll let Lewis struggle. You know, it's just good to finally feel as though there's some sort of competition returning to Formula One, which is good. Speaking of competition, the early stages were good here. It fizzled out in the closing stages. That spin for Jackson Rayhana, a race-defining moment to the benefit of Aiden Luthwaite. Last turn, checkered flag. Luthwaite does it again on a Thursday night, conquers the Algarve International Circuit in Portimão, Portugal, wins round 4, race 5 of the championship in the Super Formula Lights. The first 1 hour outing of the season, magnificent stuff. Magnificent. Our first trip to the venue in this class. We've got many trips to come. Oh, Barker pipped Calverwell at the post. I thought that was getting a little bit close for comfort. Barker pipped Calverwell, but my timing screen's lighting up 0.00. So we need to have a look at the thousandths of a second, and we need to have a look at the photo, Daniel. That's your job, your task at hand here. Barker's set this up to get the run onto the main straight, pulled out of the draft, went for it. Watch this. Watch this. Allen. Oh, wow, look at that. There's nothing in that. There's half a nose, barely. Barker on Calverwell. Barker on Calverwell. Persistence pays off. The race-defining moment was Rayhana's spin. That man the beneficiary of it. Our first trip here, and we've had 4 different winners in the night. 4 different winners in the night. And Aiden Luthwaite is a winner again in Super Formula Light. Rayhana second, Gomez Barker, then Calverwell, Baz, Alan Leach, and Christensen, and Baldwin rounding out the top 10. Extraordinarily good stuff. Great racing. And this guy is just making his mark, isn't he? He's cemented his place as a name to watch going forward, not just this season, but this year on our platforms, Daniel. That was clinical yet again. And when you withstand the pressure and go toe-to-toe and take the fight to someone as good as Jackson Rayhana, we know how well-credentialed he is, not just in this club, but also externally in the sim racing world. You earn your keep, and that's twice in a row that Aiden Luthwaite's been able to do that.
Yeah, 100%. And again, it's commiserations there for Jackson. He really did play it strong at the second half there. Had some really, really good outlaps. Extended that stint. Came out with 4 seconds of gap. And then the first step wrong was that he had to slow down for Matt Schmidtke when he did exit the pits. And then the second step was that he pushed a little too hard on those cold tyres. And Luthwaite managed to get past, and then Rayhana just could not get that same pace and consistency for the rest of the race. And as you said, Aiden will take the top spot and all the points to go.
Yep, and he's already jumped into the booth to join us to have a chat about all of that, which we will do in just a moment. There are the results on your screen, ladies and gentlemen. That margin, where was it? Calverwell to Baz.
Yeah, 996.
Oh, sorry, no, Barker to Calverwell, my apologies. 0.006. 0.006. That is ridiculous. Not the first time we've seen margins as small as that deciding positional battles tonight. Calverwell can feel unlucky. Can feel hard done by that, but what a bit of racecraft from Brett Barker. Aiden Luthwaite, Sam Chapman join us post-race to have a chat here. We'll get to Chapo in just a moment. There are the updated championship standings. It's tight now. Rayhana to Luthwaite. Aiden, welcome. Good evening to you. Well done again. terrific performance from you and the rest of the Whiskey Business Racing stable. The hopes of the stable riding with you, no doubt, at the moment. And once again, new track for everybody, and you've emerged as the master, but not with one hell of a push from Jackson Rayhana, mate. That was some of the best racing we've seen all season.
Yeah, no, I've got sweat dripping down my forehead right now, actually. No, yes, no, that was very, very hard racing indeed. Very, very, very tight. Great battling with Jackson there. Yeah, I think I just managed to just make the best of the second stint, you know what I mean? Just trying to, massage those tyres a little bit. I think that's what made the effort in the end, but yeah, that was really, really close. Great racing, Jackson.
Let's talk about you, and let's talk about that first round of pit stops, mate, because I want to know two things quickly. How much fuel is going into that tank per second, because we couldn't believe it how quick those pit stops were. And secondly, when you got back out on the racetrack, at any point tonight, did you feel the need to take fresh rubber?
Yes, well, I'll start on that second question actually. Yeah, the tyres were very, very bad towards the end of that first stint, very, very understeery, particularly through the last sector. But yeah, definitely felt the need to change tyres when I did. I think that was a good time to do it, to be honest with you. As for fuel, I'm not sure exactly what the fuel rate is in terms of how fast it goes into the tank, but yeah, very, very quick sort of thing. I think we're able to get only a small amount, well, pretty much all the fuel in pretty much under a set of tyres. So it's a very fast process, yes.
Indeed. Aidan Luthwaite joining us to have a chat here post-race, round 4 of Super Formula Lights. You must have been pinching yourself when you've been able to take the lead off Jackson in the closing stages there. The only mistake he made all night, mate, and you were the beneficiary.
Yeah, no, 100%. Yeah, no, Jackson drove an absolutely phenomenal race, all races, but yeah, just made that small slip up, I think, which cost him. But it was very, very great racing up until then, 100%.
And that does wonders for your championship, that result, mate. Let's remind everybody of where we're going next as far as this championship is concerned, because we've got a mix of sprint racing and also mini enduros and 40 minutes heats as well throughout the course of this season. I know Daniel Correa will be digging for that calendar as we speak. We went to Algarve tonight. We're off to another Formula One circuit the next 2 weeks, actually. Suzuka next week, mate. Oh, I'm not disappointed that I'm not here for Suzuka, because if we get stuck behind the safety car, good luck. You may as well just wait for checkered flag. Mate, this has been a terrific start for you. There's no doubt about that. What are your thoughts on Suzuka? And because, again, totally different racetrack to Algarve. And can you go on with it?
Yeah, I think Suzuka should be good. One of my preferred tracks, to be honest with you. Very flowy sort of track, as you know. But yeah, definitely one of my favourites. So it'll be interesting to see how we go.
Your initial thoughts on Portimão, mate, as a racetrack, because obviously we hadn't been here before. This was a new venture into the unknown for us. You guys would have spent some time this week learning it, preparing for it, fine-tuning your setups. What do you make of it?
I think it's a lovely track, to be honest with you. It's one of the tracks that I hadn't really done in a very, very long time. I want to say since Project Cars 1 came out, to be honest with you. So quite a while. I haven't done it since then, sort of thing. Obviously, night and day difference between iRacing and that game, obviously, with the laser scan tracks. But yeah, definitely a very, very good track. Interesting in the wet as well, I found. Did a little bit of wet practice, obviously. I think we had a small chance of rain tonight, so we wanted to prepare for that. But yeah, definitely a great track, I think, yeah, 100%.
Actually, that's another talking point. We've had bugger all wet weather so far this season, mate. Would you welcome some wet weather races in the back half of the schedule there?
Definitely, yes, 100%. Always spices things up.
Absolutely. And I was going to say, he's breathing heavily as well, folks. I don't think anyone appreciates just how hard a workout that was for you guys. I mean, Joe Baldwin was talking about how much of a workout it was in Formula V, mate, let alone these things, especially when, as I said, made the comparison during the call, compared this to a GT3 race or a Porsche Cup race. You're not necessarily working as hard for your track position as you are in these cars, and you and Jackson, perfectly illustrated my point there throughout the course of the evening. Just how strenuous was that last hour for you?
I mean, well, it's not too physically strenuous. Obviously, I think it's always the mental side of things. Keeping concentration. Obviously, trying to just focus is the main thing, and trying to keep focus is very important. So I think you can end up very mentally drained. I think if you're doing this type of thing for a while. So yeah, I think that's what I'd say there.
All right, very nicely done. Now. As far as the rest of the team's concerned, we haven't heard from the team boss yet, but he was down in 14th. Are you guys communicating during the race at all? Do you have your interactions on Discord, or does he let you go about your business on your own?
We do communicate. This was, I think, a more quieter sort of race in terms of the communication between us lot. But yeah, typically we will speak, just about things that are happening on track. Obviously, when you're in the car, you don't obviously get the full perspective like you guys do. So it's always best to communicate, of course. Yes.
All right, and I guess the only other question I've got for you now, when we look at the night that was, because it was such clear, smooth sailing for you, the only real variant this week on last week was that you had to occasionally deal with lap traffic. Did you have any hassles with that?
Yeah, I think there was... I think Jackson might have got holed up on one of the cars coming out of the pits, I'm pretty sure. I think maybe it was Matt or something. That's the only thing that I could really comment on that comes to mind on that. But yeah, other than that, it was pretty good, yeah.
All right, mate, very nicely done. What happens for you between now, Monday night, and of course the next Super Formula round, please?
Definitely practicing for Bathurst, 100%. That's going to be a big one. Definitely will be down for that. Moving forward, I think, just practicing for Suzuka, and then I think we're pretty keen for the Nürburgring as well, coming next Monday after. Yeah, Monday after. So yeah, pretty keen for those three, to be honest. I'll be practicing for them.
All right, very nicely done. Your team owner your team boss has just joined us. We'll get to him.
How good can this guy steer? I mean, come on.
Mate, we've been singing his praises here for the last few minutes. You mentioned Nürburgring. Geez, that's going to be one hell of a workout. Aiden, how do you go about something like that when... Because I'm not here for Bathurst, so I'm going to ask you this question now, knowing that Nürburgring's the next time I'll be in the booth. Mm-hmm. How do you go about something like the Nürburgring, knowing that it's so many different sectors, it's about an 8-minute lap in the GT3 cars, it's 20-odd kilometres long. I mean, surely you can't be expected to master every single piece of that real estate.
Well, I mean, it's going to be the goal, but I mean, obviously that's easier said than done. Yeah, Nürburgring, obviously probably one of the most difficult track obviously on the iRacing service. So I think it all comes down to just trying to get the most amount of seat time possible, really trying to learn the track, because obviously there is so much to learn. Obviously braking points, turning in points, all those things like that, where to make up time and things like that. Yeah, it just comes down to seat time, just practicing over and over and over again, and just trying to retain that muscle memory around the track, I think is really the most important thing.
All right, very nicely done. Stay with us, mate, while we talk to Greg Heaney. We'll hear from Sam Chapman in a moment as well. Greg, do we want to talk about your race, or do we want to focus on your teammate here?
Oh, look, I could talk about Aiden's race all night. He did a fantastic job. No, look, my race, I had some good little battles here and there. Will admit, I think I got gobbled up and spat out by Dan Christensen and Ads. On the same corner on 2 consecutive laps, so that was fun. I think it was just going to be who's got the biggest cojones and who wants to break the last into turn 1. Yeah. But no, it was to be honest, even this session and the preceding session in the V's was a good night of racing. My ankle is probably going to be hating me in the morning, but I will be fine.
Yeah, mine's been hating me all week, and I'm yet to figure out why it's actually giving me grief, my ankle, just quietly. But one thing I will say, we've got Jackson Ray Hunter about to join us, and I can't wait to get his take on the night that was as well. So stay with me here, boys. Aiden, actually, just one question I've thought of as Jackson joins us in the booth. Very noisy at his end. I think he's on his way to McDonald's. Is that right?
He's probably still in the car.
Where in the world are you, Mr. Rayhana?
Mate, yeah, I'm in the car. I'm just on the way home. Yeah. For a chat either way.
Oh, very nicely done. We will have a chat with you in just a moment, mate. Thank you. I hope everybody can hear us over the top of Jackson's end. But whilst I'm thinking of it, Aiden, you're all right, mate. You're all right. Aiden, 16 laps or 15 laps for the opening stint, 9 for the second stint, and then 13 for the run home. Any reason for the difference in strategy there?
Yeah, I think I sort of just winged it a little bit, to be honest with you. I wasn't really. I was thinking about changing tyres on the first stop. I think that's what Jackson did, maybe. But I thought, yeah, I did originally think that changing tyres on the second stop would be the way to go, which seemed like it worked out pretty well in the end. But yeah, it was sort of just a little bit wing it, to be honest with you.
Indeed. And Greg, before I do get to Jackson, actually, no, I'll go to Jackson first while that noise is there. Mate, well done on second. It's a case of what might have been. I mean, in the end, the margin probably doesn't reflect the night at the office. It was 6 seconds, but it could have been in your favour had it not been for the tiniest error that cost you so much. Just talk us through that, because from there, Aiden reclaimed the lead and just took off with it.
Yeah, mate, I'm gutted. I'm absolutely gutted. I knew. I thought it was funny at the first pit stop. Aiden's car didn't go up from the jack, so I thought, he hasn't taken tyres here. I knew, from having done practice, the tyre wear was quite fierce, so I thought it was a brave move, and then, obviously it took him a little while to switch on. But then once we switched them on, we caught him pretty quickly. And once we got past him, the tyre fall off was obvious. So from that point onwards, I thought the race was, just about done. And in fact, in the second pit stop, I almost didn't take tyres. I thought, it'll be a shorter stop, so we'll be right. But I took them. I knew obviously we had the time advantage, so I thought, look, just to be safe, I will take them. And yeah, it was just a case of very, very big misfortune.
Yeah, very unfortunate, mate. However, at least you're able to get home in second, maintain the championship lead. Consistency is key, as you know, and podium results go a long way to a championship. Although that being said, you'll ruin this if it is decided by 1 or 2 points, won't you?
Oh, absolutely. Aiden's very tough. He's going to be very, very tough to beat over the course of the season. So every point counts. Even when he got the fastest lap, I'm like, you bugger. He took the couple of points off me.
Yeah.
But fair play. It was good racing. Hopefully at least in the early part of the race, we put a show on for you guys.
Oh,
yeah, absolutely.
Great race. It was fantastic stuff, and that brings me back to a point that I want to get both of your thoughts on, because Jackson, you've done enough tin top racing over the time. You specialise obviously on our platforms these days in the open wheelers, but it's such a different racecraft in the super formulas compared to GT3 or even the Porsche Cup or even the supercars. You've been in enough of these races now to know that not too many guys want to get involved in battles early on in the piece, in those tin top equivalents, but in this series you've got to get the elbows out, you've got to race hard essentially from the outset, and that is really livening up the spectacle.
But yeah, I was, to me it was kind of funny you say that, because in the initial stages of the race, when, I guess the pecking order was quite clear, I knew Aiden, or even based on qualifying, I knew Aiden and I at least have the slight pace advantage on everyone. So I'm like, come on Aiden, let's work together, and then he'd come past. I'm like, oh no, okay. So I'm like, we're giving away a little bit to the guys behind us at the start of the race. But either way, it was good fun. It was all clean, so yeah, it was all good. And I guess the pace came out toward the middle stage, or once we were running the tyre into the rim, it was it was clear we had a bit more pace on the guys behind us. So yeah, the battling in the I guess early part of the race didn't really matter. So but yeah, it was good fun either way, and yeah, like definitely it's a bit more definitely more European. It's like they don't mess around over there, and you know, in go-karts or open wheelers, like they're playing for sheep stations every lap. So yeah, you definitely want to lead, especially in an open wheel car, because yeah, you just don't want that aero wash.
No, that's exactly right. Aidan, your thoughts on the difference in racecraft here?
I think 100%. No, I'll just back up what you said before. Really, it's massive difference between the tin tops, obviously with the slipstream. Really, obviously down the straight making a massive difference, and obviously what Jackson said before as well, the dirty air making of the opposite difference in the corners as well. So no, it's very, very different indeed, 100%.
Very nicely done, and I know we'll hear from Greg Keeney a little bit later on as well. Hey Jackson, you joined the conversation a little bit late here, mate, but I was asking these guys their thoughts on this circuit, given it's one of the newer ones on the platform. That's the first comment I want from you. On the second, when are we going to see some bloody wet weather races? And surely, given all the hype around the Tempest weather system, you must be looking forward to that at some point.
Yeah, like first things first, the circuit I hadn't driven until about 12 o'clock today, so at this time precisely 10 hours ago I was I was basically trying to find my way around. Like I had no idea which way was right or left or whatever, and yeah, I'm glad I was able to I guess get the grips of it, and yeah, obviously I wasn't, tell you what, this time at 12 o'clock today, I wasn't expecting pole, that's for sure.
No, but you got it. I mean, the form guide is that it's shaping up to be a battle between you and Luthwaite. You guys seem to be a cut above the rest of them at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely, and I love it. I look forward. It makes me better as a driver, and I'm sure Aidan will agree. Like when you're fighting against someone, and you know, when you're trying to win a championship, it really lifts you in terms of skill. You work harder. You're trying to find every little bit you can on the other guy, and yeah, like, you know, I've seen it popping up practice sessions and stuff. Like he's been really working hard. So, and that each time, you know, you beat each other, it makes it a little bit more. It's much more rewarding beating someone who, you know, is working really hard to beat you.
Indeed. Now, you're not going to believe this when I tell you, because it wasn't looking like it all night. There were 27 seconds to play at the MCG. It is 12:5.77 to 11:10.76. It is Carlton by 1 point after leading all night long. So it'll be interesting to see if Melbourne can find something here in the last 20 seconds. I'll let you know. But right now, I want to get your thoughts on next week, Jackson, because we're off to Suzuka, mate.
Yeah, Suzuka, love Suzuka. We've just come off the Gentlemen's Sim Racing Enduro Series win there. So, yeah, pretty handy at that track, and hopefully I'll get my buddy Jamie Welch back next weekend as well. Oh, sorry, next week, because that's his favourite track. So, yeah, we're looking forward to it. It's a track that, you know, I'm not looking at the schedule and going, oh, yuck, because there's a couple of those. I'll admit tonight was one of them. I'm looking at Portimão thinking, oh, geez, it's a track I've never even driven before. So, but turned out I didn't mind it in the end. But yeah, Suzuka will be nice. It'd be good to get back to familiar land, and hopefully, yeah, as you mentioned before, because I know a fair few people are familiar with Suzuka. Hopefully, they can turn the rain on a little bit.
That's true. And since he's still here, Greg Heaney, I should get your thoughts on Suzuka as well. Sam Chapman's departed. Hopefully Chap will be back at some point.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to Suzuka as well. On the back of Jackson's comments, yeah, well, we had the weather turned on in the Enduro series, so that was interesting, particularly in the GTPs. These should be pretty good, I reckon, being it is almost an F1 spec track. So, yeah, these will be a heap of fun around there.
Indeed, they will be. All right, mate. Very nicely done. Hey, Jackson, what's next for you, boys?
probably next Monday night actually. I'm gonna have a crack in GT3, I think, because they're back at Bathurst. They're doing a few tin top official. Honestly, I did the first GT3 official today. I think I've done in probably 2 or 3 years, and I know what car I'm picking. I won't reveal that yet, but since I'm a ring in, I guess, for Bathurst, I can sort of have the free will to pick whatever car I want. So yeah, I've decided what I want, and it'll be good. Once again, I hope they can turn the weather on. It'll be even cooler, but I'm just looking forward to hurling around Bathurst. Just love that place.
All right, very nicely done. Hey, just with regards to you two gentlemen, one more question for you, Jackson, and then I'll get back to Aidan and Greg, and then we'll get Sam Chapman, who's just rocked back up into the booth to finish us off. Jackson, where's the rest of your team, please? What's going on? You're like a whole missionary flyer at the moment.
They're working hard on their own stuff. Like Jamie's a fly-out worker, so he's only with us probably 2 weeks at a time. John is on the night shift at the moment, so unfortunately he can't be with us. I'm just making excuses for the guys at the moment. It sounds like excuses, but they're working hard on their own stuff at the moment. But look, once we have Angus is enjoying himself overseas at the moment. God, I've lost count of where he is, what country he is these days. He's always trekking her out somewhere. But the team they'll be back soon, hopefully, like on a more regular basis. It is, I guess, a smaller team now because obviously we had so much time off, and I'm sort of trying to get everyone back together, and John is also doing a great job with giving us some fresh paints and sort of coercing us to get back in the cars and drive well, because I know we're still quick and we still do a lot in the endurance stuff and still very much focused on that. But once the boys, I guess, sort their stuff out, I'm sure they'll be a lot more regular on the service.
All right, mate, very nicely done. Thank you to you. We'll let you rock and roll for the rest of the night. Thank you for putting on a great spectacle. Well done. Look forward to seeing you. I won't be here next week. Good luck with Davis. Good luck with Suzuka. I'll see you the week after.
All right, mate. Have a good one. See you later, guys.
And I think we made this point, Aidan Luthlate and Greg Keeney, on Monday night when we were talking GT3. I think we made this point that we should be careful of going to Bathurst in GT3, especially with the grid sizes the way they are at the moment, because as I said, and it's ringing true already with blokes like Ray Harner, there will be a few ring-ins just because it's Bathurst.
I don't think there's going to be enough grid boxes at Bathurst.
Oh dear, there could be carnage on the opening lap, ladies and gentlemen. I'm somewhat glad that I'm not going to be here. All right, Greg, let's put the full stop on this one. Your teammates flying the flag nicely at the moment, right there in championship contention every week, so vitally important with it as tight as it is. Suzuka's going to be an important stop in the championship schedule. I'm disappointed I can't be here for it, but as far as you and the rest of the stable are concerned, give me an update. What's next? What are you most looking forward to? And how many bets are hedged on Aidan flying the flag for you for the rest of the season?
I don't think you get much back if you went odds on, that's for sure. He's doing a great job. The rest of us, Fred couldn't be here tonight. He had some other commitments on. Obviously, Jackson was in the session. Unfortunately, had a little bit of an incident, which is I was discussing just to get a couple of different points of view on it with Joe earlier. Myself, I'm still turning laps. I'm still here. I'll turn up every week unless something else comes up. But managed to recruit another guy into the. I got the checkbook out again, as you would say, Zach.
Yep.
Got Andrew Neal into the team today. He was looking for a team to jump into through the Enduro, GSRC Enduro stuff. So he's going to be flying the flag for us in the AM split in GT3 now. He reckons he'll probably be in Pro in another week or two. So there'll be another one on the grid. We've got Ben Grange, I think you say it, in AM as well.
Yep.
Yeah, I've got guys everywhere at the moment. It's hard to keep track of them all.
Exactly. As far as you're concerned, because obviously your teammates smashing it out of the park, but what's the trick to you and just finding that extra, that extra little bit of mojo here in these cars and in this series?
I think it's just more seat time, to be honest. That's pretty much it. Just more seat time, probably just a whole bunch more practice sessions with Aiden, and following him around for a bit and just trying to keep up with him, I think, without trying to kill myself.
Fair enough. Did I asked you for your thoughts on Suzuka, Aiden, so I don't need to bother about that. Greg, as far as Bathurst is concerned, we spoke about that on Monday night. What else is the club? What else is the team? Focusing on in the next 7 days?
Probably a good chunk of practice for Bathurst, Nords, Suzuka. I've got SRX tomorrow. Boys were in the channel cheering me on last week, so that was interesting. It was good fun last week, that's for sure. And then whatever rolls around next week, wherever we want to jump in. I think Aiden's probably going to be joining us for the V's next week because he was watching that earlier, so that'll be interesting.
Very nicely done. Aiden, sorry, you were going to say?
I was going to say, yeah, might do. I was just going off the back of what Greg was saying. I was watching the race before, I think it was race 1 and 2, watching the V races, and that looks like great racing. So yeah, might do next week.
Best racing in the club, just quietly. Best racing.
I think so, yeah.
And you're going to find stiff opposition to the contrary in this booth at the moment. There's very little argument here that from Formula V is here and here to stay. Gentlemen, thank you, appreciate that. I'll finish off with Chapo and we'll round this broadcast out. Guys, well done again tonight. Have a good weekend.
No worries. Cheers, guys.
Thank you very much.
Chapo, a bit like what we've been talking about with these three gentlemen already. When the bloody hell are we going to see some rain on a Thursday night? We had rain at Monza in qualifying, and it hasn't been back since.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm surprised we haven't seen it since. I'm not entirely against it, given I can barely keep these things straight without the rain. But it would certainly switch things up. I wouldn't be surprised if we, given all that complaining, see some fairly soon.
Very nicely done. There's a funny moment at your night, unfortunately, right on time, right on cue. I mean, you still finished 11th, mate. A solid showing over the hour and up 4 spots on where you started. Just talk us through it. Your night at Portimão, apart from that incident, I mean, all things considered, you've had an okay night out.
Oh yeah, and given I'm still sort of getting the hang of the track, and I can't quite get the hang of this car. Like, it's, I've not done any downforce or much downforce really before, and I think just getting the hang of the braking and the turn, how aggressive you can be with it is taking a bit of time. But also I haven't, put too much crack in either with these ones. That final turn too, my God, it got me every time. A bit behind someone, but yeah, it was really good racing throughout that sort of mid pack there. I reckon I had a good battle with pretty much everyone in that sort of bottom of the top 10 going into the teams at one stage or another. So no, it was really good. It was really good fun out there. It's that there's slipstream battles down this main straight, and throughout the rest of it were good. Tyres definitely fell off, and that was part of, I guess, that balancing act that I was struggling with too. But yeah, no, they did a really good job tonight, and I really enjoyed it out there.
So did we, mate. We quite enjoyed the spectacle. You mentioned talking about getting your head around these cars. Just how difficult is that proving to be?
Yeah, I mean, it's getting around to doing them fast, right? So, you're always balancing that, okay, you're locking up a tyre here, locking up a tyre there. And, how much brake can I put in? Big one's obviously braking and what those points are. And with the tyres the way they are, given the strain goes through them, there's probably a lot more deviation in in their grip too. But you know, when you get it right, it feels amazing, and they're really good to battle with because they're that sort of size, and in the slipstream, you know, once you're within 5/10, really starts sucking you up. So yeah, it's that braking, it's and just understanding how that downforce works. I'm not used to cars cornering quite as well as this.
True. I mean, I never got a chance to properly ask you about the Portimão circuit earlier. I love this racetrack. It's fast, it's flowy, it's undulating, it's got a couple of technical parts as well. I mean, the Grand Prix, Formula 1 Grand Prix variant is slightly different to that of MotoGP. It offers up something for everyone, and it's a particularly good circuit for open wheel racing.
Yeah, it's a brilliant circuit for open wheel racing. Like, the runoffs are quite good and relatively fair as well. It's not like they catch you out with, you know, like an off track or a slowdown randomly. They're relatively fair off tracks, but they do allow you to sort of like sweep out good overtaking spots. You know, you can go around. It turned out down at that hairpin, it's the outside line that seemed to be the best option to overtake or hold position, just because of the downforce on it, right? And you could sort of track out to the outside thing. But then also with the 3D curbs, some of them you really don't want to be going over because you'll notice it. You probably noticed that a lot of people aren't braking on the curbs, and I'd say that's probably for the same reason, is that the grip level and the roughness is more than what you'd see on, say, other tracks in iRacing that are a bit older.
All right, mates. Where are we? We're about 10:30, so about time we put a full stop on this. We've been on air for just on 3 hours now, but and I don't want to repeat the last week where Daniel Correa falls asleep in his chair. However, that is one of the great all-time stories on the platforms of the GSRC. Unfortunately, I may will never live that down. But in saying that, big week next week. Off to Bathurst on Monday night. I know we've got Sonoma up a couple of times. First with Formula V, and also I believe the supercars as well. I'm not here for any of it, but what are your thoughts on that? And also taking these things to Suzuka, another Grand Prix course on the agenda next week.
Yeah, Bathurst will be in the GT3s. There's no doubt about it. We may actually struggle for slots, so. Yeah, I don't know how that's gonna work out. Fortunately, I won't be taking one up, I don't think. So there's one down. But yeah, rest of the week, Suzuka. I mean, Suzuka and these would be fun. Like that, you know, downforce car around Suzuka is always, you know, what they're made for, really. Those sweeping turns. So that'll be good fun through there. Yeah, and then what? So Sonoma in the V's. Yeah, it's once again. So I've got to try that layout, because I've never done that layout either. That was I think it was a MAV recommendation, but I try one of the shorter layouts or something. I'll have to check which one it was. Oh, is it Sebring next week? Yeah, okay. Right.
No. Sebring is the short layout.
Sebring's a short layout, and Sonoma's the longer one. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I mean, well, V's going up that hill. I don't know if they'll make it. We'll have to go down to second or first.
I was a little bit worried about anyone that's come unstuck in the V's on a downhill section with an uphill ahead of them. I didn't know if they'd make it to the top, but apparently they did. So. I love the V's, but from zero, they're not the best hill climb vehicle.
No, I wouldn't say they're the best hill climb vehicle. Maybe going down a hill, they're not so bad. The billy cart racing, maybe that could be an option. The Mount Washington billy carts at some point. But yeah, no, they're not the best hill climbs. Not the fastest in most places, really, unless that place has a width of about 1.5 meters.
True. All right, very nicely done, mate. Great work tonight. Well done. And looking forward to seeing you in a couple of weeks' time.
Yeah, thanks, mate.
I must say, I was entertained from first until last tonight, Daniel. We've had a great night out. 4 races that, I mean, yeah, okay, winning margins in a couple of them got out of hand, but for the most part, we had entertainment from first until last, and no real, lackluster periods or processional periods, and that's just the way we like it on a Thursday night.
Yeah, I have to say the Formula nights are working really well. I mean, we had no doubt of the Formula Vs. They always put on a good show. But yeah, stacking the Formula Vs up front and the Super Formula Lights at the back. Yeah, it's working really well. So I'm very keen for the weeks to come.
For the sake of my voice box, I think we need to split it, swap it around, and switch it, flip it on its lid, because the voice box is worn out after Formula V, and it's still got to push through the Super Formula. That's just the intensity of Formula V racing. And then, of course, people like Ray Harner and Luthwaite do what they did tonight and keep the voice box going well beyond what we thought it would have to work this evening. But no, great racing. We've enjoyed it. We hope you have as well, wherever you're tuning in all around Australia or indeed the world, on the platforms, the Gentleman Sim Racing Club across Facebook, Twitch and YouTube. Let's have a quick look now at what's coming your way. And then I'll do some sponsor thank yous and some other plugs as well. But let's have a look at the schedule for the rest of week 4 and then, of course, week 5 as well. Remembering that I'm not here next week as we get to halfway throughout the course of the season. I'll be back for the start of week 6 tomorrow night. Nick Fodiatis, Joe Baldwin with you onto the NASCAR short configuration of the Sonoma Raceway tomorrow night. 3 sprint races on the agenda there for you from 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the Superstar Racing experience in the stock cars. On Saturday night, it'll be Mountain Men. They're off to Mount Panorama in something very synonymous with the venue. The V8 Supercars, of course, 32 laps the journey there, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Nothing on Sunday, as far as I'm aware, because the Mother's Day outing of the GSRC GT3 and Hypercar Endurance Championship. I'm not going to be happy about the update about this. There will be some members of the Shell also announced in due course what happened next. It's going to say out for the GSRC GT3 and Hypercar Endurance Championship. Monday night takes up to therefore. Start of week 5. Disappointed to not be here for this one, but duty calls down in Cessnock and family commitments among other things as well. The Super 2s and Super 3s from the Red Bull Ring, 25 minutes the journey there, 7:35 Eastern Standard Time. The journey gets underway. Red Bull Ring the venue, round 5 of the Super 2 and Super 3 Championship. Monday night motorsports on tray for you. The main course, we go to Mount Panorama Bathurst for the GT3s. The pro split on the agenda on Monday night. That will be well worth the price of admission. We had 44 of them this week, I think it was. I expect 60 on the grid at Mount Panorama, at least 50. 50 we're happy with, 60 would be extraordinary. And this is because they all come out of the woodwork whenever the word Bathurst is mentioned. It'll be fantastic. All right, so from there, that's of course getting underway 8:30 Eastern Standard Time. I think Liam Banks is jumping in my absence to join Adam Lavis. Tuesday night, Logsy Racing up and comers, the Van Ryn Cup in the Formula Vs. Oh, that'll be fun. Not sure of the venue just yet. 10 minutes for the first race, 15 the second, 25 the third, 7:45 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. Orbic Australia GT1 Civil War follows from Road America. 40 minutes ripping and tearing around Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin from 10 past 9 Eastern Standard Time. Looking forward to that. Wednesday night, let's have a look here at what's coming up. The Production Car Challenge in the Toyota 86s from Brands Hatch first up. 15 minutes for race 1, 25 for race 2, top 10 reverse grid, 7:30 Eastern Standard Time. And then off back to here, back to the Algarve International Circuit, Portimão. This is on broadcast, so this will be a second look at Portimão in broadcast trip. On Wednesday night, Motorsport, William Banks and Daniel Correa from 8:45 Eastern Standard Time. It's just a 40-minute race on the equation, on the agenda on that occasion. Next Thursday night, Spreyton side of Formula V and also Super Formula Lights. We're off to, as we said there earlier, Sonoma for the first race. That'll be, of course, Spreyton side of Formula V, 3-race format as per usual. You've seen it enough times now to know that that's how we wheel and deal on a Thursday night. 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 15 minutes. And, of course, now we've got a full reverse grid for the second race and a 10 reverse invert for the third race. That's still tripping me up, I must say, and I apologise for that. I'll get the hang of the new schedule and the new agenda and the new format eventually. It's followed by Super Formula Whites. It's sprint racing, in fact, next Thursday night from Suzuka. So 5 races on the program next week. Just like last week, Suzuka the venue, Super Formula Whites wins and slicks. 15 minutes for race 1, 25 for race 2, in the top 10 for that second race. 8:45 Eastern Standard Time, but it all gets underway with Formula V at 7:30 Eastern. Looking forward to that immensely. We couldn't do what we do here on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club without the great support of the following people scrolling across the bottom of your screen here. They, of course, include Waste Options, Spreyton Cider, the great people at Orbic Australia, and of course our good mate Trent Lobesy Racing, Trent Lavis, and of course the even better people at M-Wave Australia, and also the great people at Flash Graphics, who have been mainstay supporters of the club from the outset. GSRC merch is available there via those links, gsrcmerch.myshopify.com and merch.tgsrci.com. A little bit late to get your orders in for Mother's Day, ladies and gentlemen, but birthdays and other things are coming up, so don't forget to hit up the store for that. race.tgsrci.com is where you go for all the other information relevant to this club and how to get in amongst it, if you so wish to join in the fun on track. If not, remain where you are, crack open a coldie and enjoy it from the best seat in the house, as many of our loyal viewers and spectators do. Looking forward to that immensely. Yeah, that's been good fun. Really hope you've enjoyed it on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. Thursday night motorsport with thanks to Spreyton Cider. Now, a smorgasbord of real-world motorsport to sink your teeth into this weekend. As we said earlier, Formula E's back from Berlin. You've got the 24 Hours of Portimão, IMSA from Laguna Seca, World Sports Cars, World Endurance Championship, from Spa-Francorchamps. You've got the World Rally Championship on. You've also, of course, got MotoGP from the French Grand Prix, Indianapolis for the IndyCars on the road course before they switch to the oval for the 500, and of course NASCAR from Darlington. So an enormous amount to sink your teeth into this week. As per usual at this time of the year, and Supercars back next week, TCR back at the end of the month. Good time to be a motorsport fan, no doubt about that. I'm not here for next week. I'm taking next week off. I've got commitments down home. I will be back. I'm down home until the 22nd of May. Getting the car serviced on the 21st, and then the 22nd I'm also driving back to Ipswich. I've got a wedding to attend and a couple of other things, but because I love the club so much, I'm not taking 2 consecutive Monday nights off. I will be here for the 90-minute outing for GT3 Pro from the Nordschleifer, from the Nürburgring combined. So that will be enormous on the platforms of the GSRC. That is Monday, the 20th of May, and we're looking forward to your company for that. Supercar entree, of course, and then into 90 minutes of GT3. I'm taking the kit with me. I'll do that one from Mum and Dad's garage in Cessnock, and easily done too, because the old boy's on a men's trip, a fishing trip that week. So he'll be on a charter, so he won't be anywhere to be seen. And so no disruptions, no noise, no arguing over who's going to have the shed for how long. I'll be able to hijack it for the night, free of charge. So I'll be back then, and then the drive back here to the studio that I work out of every other week, every other Monday and Thursday for the rest of the term. Hope you enjoyed Spreyton Cider Thursday Night Motorsport on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club as much as we enjoyed bringing it to you. It was Carlton edging out Melbourne by 1 in the AFL. It was the Dolphins over the Eagles in the NRL. Here it was Aiden Luthwaite dominating in the end, pulling away to a 6-second victory over Jackson Rayhana after one of the great scraps for the league we've seen in the Super Formula Light season. And of course, 3 different winners to see us out in Formula V as well. Our good mate Chapo getting a race win and then getting picked at the post in race 3 by his teammate Adam Proctor. So locked up SimSport boys had a very good night at the office. We did as well. We hope you enjoyed it as much as we enjoyed bringing it to you. Thanks for sticking in there for the ride, and if you've enjoyed it as much as we have, then we finish happy. We hope you come back and join us on Monday night when we do it all again for the 5th week of the second term of the season to get us to the halfway mark of term 2 for 2024. In the meantime, on behalf of Daniel Correa-Sar and the entire GSRC broadcast, commentary and production team here, I'm Zach Caban. Until we see you next time, bye for now.